Hey guys, this is DistractionCast. My name's Joseph, and I am joined by co-host Sterling.
Hi.
And today we're going to be talking about the new Tomb Raider movie. We just watched it today, so we're going to be reviewing that. But we'll also be talking about video game movies in general, and which ones we've seen and kind of the state of them, and if, you know, what we think overall.
If it counts as real cinema or not.
Right, exactly. But before we get into that, just really quick, just quick introduction so you know kind of what we like and what we're into. I'm a video game designer. I've been doing that for a few years. Love it. And some of my favorite games are Majora's Mask. I really like RPGs, action-based things, and some real-time strategy games. I very much value like story and just a lot of polish in video games. And then as far as movies, because we're going to be talking about mainly movies today, I really like MCU movies, kind of sci-fi thrillers like the new Blade Runner. And I wouldn't say I'm like a crazy master, history lesson person for cinema, but I do very much enjoy them and they inspire me. And Sterling?
Yeah, I'm Sterling Anno. I am a film festival programmer and part-time filmmaker every now and then with the documentary format. Generally, I guess I'll flip mine. I'll start with movies. Generally, I generally like, again, documentary. I'm obsessed with reality and how to present it through someone's perspective in a different artistic manner, as well as I'm a really big fan of not just horror films, but of experimental avant-gardism. I really like seeing someone use a medium in a different way that at least someone in the audience hasn't seen before. And when it comes to, games, although I don't have too much time to play them at all, what I do love to go to when I do, survival horror is probably my favorite genre. Tank controls and all, I don't mind. And
So you like Resident Evil?
Resident Evil, Silent Hill, definitely. And other than that, I'm still obsessed with point and click games from like the 90s, in which like Sam and Max and most things from old Telltale and Double Fine
Right.
back then. And then lastly, 90s shooters, such as Duke Nukem, Blood, Shadow Warrior.
Right.
I just feel like those ones had so much substance to them in comparison to others, even though they were still the brainless counterparts of
running
their day.
guns.
Yeah,
running guns.
Yeah, but so many movie references in those.
Right.
It was fantastic stuff. Anyway, that's my introduction. I guess we can carry on.
Yeah, well, like I said, Tomb Raider movie. We watched it today, and we wanted to start the stream earlier. We had some internet issues, but
Yeah, that was fun. Shout out to Cox Cable.
yeah, thank you, Cox, for just completely without warning cutting us off. And luckily, we're back on earlier than they stated that they were gonna turn everything back on.
We otherwise either would have canceled or been on at 10.
Right, exactly. Okay, yeah. So Tomb Raider. We actually did a stream of the game.
Yeah, the 2013.
2013, the Square Enix title is kind of like the reboot and new take on Tomb Raider and Lara Croft.
Yeah, which was big and hyped, with Square Enix taking over from just Eidos, from the 90s, which was usurped by Square Enix.
Yeah, and a lot of interesting modernized changes, a lot more cinematic, a lot more streamlined. Like the controls are not as they're modernized. They shouldn't be as clunky as I think like the older Tomb Raiders were kind of clunky. Still,
they were very clunky. They were tank.
Yeah,
they were the Gears of War of their day.
Right,
getting caught on textures and whatnot.
Not as bad as Resident Evil controls, but a lot more action based than that. That's a different genre.
Yeah.
So it was interesting to see what this movie, they took that source material, the newer source material, and kind of ran with it. And I was surprised to notice a lot of similarities. Like they stayed like relatively faithful to this new reboot. As far as we played, like we got like halfway through yesterday.
I think
playing that. Yeah, it was like about halfway through.
Can't really tell. It's hard. Sometimes it's hard to tell the percentage, the completionist percentage you get at the home screen of your load.
Right.
You never know if the 38% means you're not even close to be done with the story, or that means you missed all the collectibles. Like, I can't tell what they mean.
Right. But we did look up generally how long it takes to do just the main quest, and it's like about 12 hours, maybe a little bit less. You know. That was just the average.
With
And
speed runs at 5 somehow.
Yeah, we did like over 6 hours, so we were pretty close. Or not pretty close, but we were at least halfway done.
We had to be halfway.
Yeah. But yeah, back to the movie. I mean, this is an interesting movie. Before we get to if we thought it was good or not, I just want to say like it's interesting because it definitely felt different from other video game movies that I've watched before. And I think part of that is I don't know how much involvement Square Enix had with it, but it definitely felt like they took stuff from the games, you know, to kind of please the fans and the fandom. But it still felt like a regular movie. It didn't feel like a fan thing that kind of just like was all about, you know, the very specific details of a game. Like they took the general story, and it was pretty faithful. But I guess I was just gonna ask Sterling, you straight up, like, what was your initial like feedback? Because we haven't talked about it yet. We watched it today, but we haven't said anything about it since then. So what are your first thoughts? What was the first point you want to bring up about this movie?
Well, the first thing I wanted to bring up was, to me, any film, a lot of what goes into not just a film, but what you will take from it is how you set it up initially. You know, a lot of games start off a certain way. A lot of movies start off a certain way. When you're comparing a game to a movie, which, let's face it, this is a movie that's meant for you to do so, and pridefully. Square Enix obviously did take a lot of liberties and fit them in somewhat naturally to where they should go to give kind of that, hey, you know, kind of feel.
Right.
But I felt that, you know, this film starts off, you know, taking a different turn from what you get when you start off the game.
Yeah.
You know, you get a little more, you know, obviously you're following, you know, someone for 2 hours straight through a piece of media that you can't control. So they have to really, you know, give you a character that's a little more not grounded, but a self-starter in her own right.
Yeah, well, because you can't just project yourself into
Exactly.
that character. That you need to have, and they do. They gave her a backstory. They started off, was it in London? I think is where she was.
In London, as someone who's not necessarily defined or I would say developed as the smart, you know, super book smart archaeologist that you think. You soon find out that she basically just picked up a lot of knowledge from being around her dad,
Right.
or family in general, for all we know.
Yeah.
It was just knowledge stored in here rather than something she cares about. She's obviously detached from it through trauma of having lost her family, you know.
Right.
And you know, that it's pretty grounded. You know, it felt believable. It just felt also a Far Cry departure from what you get in the actual game. In games, plural, she's always the archaeologist. Like she's the Tony Stark of digging up bones.
Yeah,
pots,
even
you know?
in this movie, they made a line about like, oh, what school did you go to? And she's like, oh, I didn't go to college for this.
Yeah,
you know,
she's a
like,
total, you know,
just absorbed everything from her father's. Basically, just like a clone of her father in a way. Just like all the secondhand knowledge. But I agree. Like I think they did a good job at kind of in the beginning grounding her into reality a lot more,
giving her, you know, she's a very street smart person rather than just, you know, by the math.
Right.
She knows how the world works through numbers and statistics, which it's different from what you get, because in the games she's both. She's completely both. So they kind of put one side of the equation on the backseat, but it's there.
Right.
It only comes out when it's necessary for the story. And then what you get is, you know, a very clever, streetwise, and extremely resilient person who happens to eventually land herself in this situation in which she must prove something to herself.
Right.
Because she's not willing to take a pretty harsh step. in order to advance her personal, financial, and just social standing.
Yeah. I mean, it's interesting to think that how the video game differs from the movie in that, like, in the video game, you're kind of given like a short like montage of what the movie kind of explains in like the first 30 minutes.
Yeah.
You get that in like 5 seconds in the beginning of the game.
Yeah.
And then you're kind of thrown into the ship, gets destroyed. She's on the island, which is like where the meat of the story happens. So
The wolf meat
yeah,
story.
yeah, and then you're immediately attacked by wolves. But I thought it was, really interesting. I really like this portrayal of Laura Croft. I know that it is different in that
You mean in the movie?
In the movie, yes. The movie Laura Croft is a very interesting portrayal that I really liked, and I actually found very appealing about the new Tomb Raider series, is that you do kind of see her origin story. And unlike superhero movies where people are like, oh, we're sick of seeing the same kind of story thing, like you don't really know that much about Laura's past. I mean, you can piece it together from the other games, but you don't get to really experience it like you do in this movie, but also in the game, which I thought was very appealing. And something that's also very interesting about the movie is that they were not afraid to kind of keep some of the more fantastical moments that happen in the game. Like there are some very very iconic scenes from the game that we played yesterday that they kept in the movie.
Yeah.
Specifically a parachute scene. Like it was very similar.
God damn it, Lost World.
Right. Very much like the
I was
Lost
gonna
World
lean
scene.
over and say that, but
Yeah.
I did that already yesterday during the
You did that during the
game
game stream. But yeah, during the movie, there's a parachute scene. And yeah, it's like she takes a few blows that you'd be like, what? No one would really get up from that. No normal
Especially
person.
in the movie, it's more unbelievable.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like in the
Yeah.
game, it happens on like, oh,
Yeah,
okay, well, she's a video
whatever.
game character, whatever.
Yeah.
And then they do the exact same thing in the movie, and you're just like, oh my god, they're going for it. Like it's fine.
Yeah.
Like she just gets hit by a bunch of trees. It's fine. She's gonna shake it off.
She has one big splinter in her side, and
Right.
then she holds her stomach like she had Taco Bell, and then she walks it off.
Well, I think the audience might be okay with that because I'm assuming a lot of the audience that goes in to see this movie, I mean, obviously are fans of video games, but are probably also watchers of superhero movies.
Yeah,
and
this is definitely for that market. It's
Right.
it's a fandom flick.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
But also, it can kind of blend itself into the crowd of people who are just, they want to see the Predator remake, or they want to see, God forbid, Alien Covenant. Anything that an actual just film,
Right.
cinema IP, that's like action, Die Hard type stuff.
Right.
So it has a multi cross genre. So older, audience members who don't even know what Tomb Raider is, to them it's just an action movie.
Yeah. Yeah,
So.
I was thinking that there's a stigma with video game movies, and that a lot of them are very terrible. Like they're just as like a standalone piece of film, they're just not very good. Usually the pacing's weird, and like some of the effects and design choices and writing choices are very off. But I thought for a movie just on its own, like if someone were not really to know what Tomb Raider is, or maybe just saw the old Tomb Raider movies, I thought this was like a pretty solid movie. Like I thought, it wasn't the best movie in the world. I enjoyed it. I went in there thinking, like, watching the trailer, I was like, oh, the trailer makes it look like the CG's really bad and the pacing's going to be bad and the writing and the acting. But no, like all that stuff was relatively solid in my opinion. I was worried about pacing because the DC movies came out. Those have a shit ton of pacing issues, and a lot of people are like, "Well, it's a fandom movie, like it's for the fans." And then I'm watching this.
Well, not even.
Right. Well,
In that
exactly.
case.
Yeah, exactly. But then when you watch this movie, and it's just like, even if you don't think it's the greatest movie, and it is kind of just like a action flick, it doesn't have anything that we haven't really seen before, except the fact that it's a video game movie without severe pacing issues, in my opinion. Because I enjoyed the first act, which is introducing her in London, even though the street race thing was a little cheesy or whatever. And I'm like, oh god, it's gonna be. One of
I
these
actually,
movies.
really quickly, if we can, stop on that for a second. I really thought that my initial problem with the film was just that entire sequence.
Okay.
I thought the setup, like the opening, it was very jarring.
Right.
Only because, like, oh, she's an MMA fighter. You know, because I thought I was watching Sherlock Holmes with Robert Downey Jr. and he's randomly like a Mandingo fighter or something.
Oh,
And
yeah,
it's almost like, okay, I get he's Robert Downey Jr. and he's, you know, celebrity. He's Sherlock Holmes.
Right.
Sherlock Holmes wasn't pit fighting people, you know? They kind of pulled the same thing here, in which Lara Croft, she's resilient. She's resourceful. She's not, you know, she's not like, you know, Holly Holm. You know, so it's different, but it's fine. You know, there's some fighting in the game that is useful, but it's mainly tactical logic fighting, not so much. I'm literally going to take you down right now with my roundhouse. Yeah. But it wasn't really that. It was the street race scene with out of place rap soundtrack, and I was just like, I really hope this isn't the kind of movie I'm getting where there's gonna be like Macklemore playing,
where there's like a shootout where they bust out the rap music in the middle of the jungle, and you're like, why is
Tyler
this
Tyler the Creator's gonna blast over the actual rating, you know?
Well, I actually think that the fighting, because she was training, she wasn't like an underground fighter, she was like training. And I think that kind of makes sense. Like, I understand what you mean as far as...
I thought it was good.
Yeah.
I was jarred at first.
Right.
That was my only complaint.
Right.
Because that's not what you get in the game.
Yeah.
So it threw me off at first, and then I was like, oh, no. She's just... You know, she's trying to train, but she can't even pay for the lessons.
That's true. In the game, you're kind of just like beating people over the head with rocks and like, you know...
throwing sand in their eyes.
Yeah, exactly.
And then they die from that.
Yeah, and like the most... At least as far as our experience went, the most like melee stuff that you got was like you choke people out with the bow. Yeah. And then sometimes, you throw sand in their eyes. Yeah. You pocket sand them.
Yeah.
And then eventually you can like slash at their legs with your pickaxe thing, which is super cool. They kept that exact same design in the movie. So I thought that was really cool. But the difference between this and Sherlock, because you did compare that, is that in Sherlock, it was kind of establishing a new thing. Like, it's a Guy Ritchie film, right?
Yes.
So of course he wanted to make, slow motion fights and make it like kind of gritty and dirty. And this makes a little bit more sense because, in Tomb Raider, Lara Croft has always been an action kind of hero. Maybe not like, Tekken fighting skills or anything like that, but she definitely knows how to fight, and she definitely knows how to survive, and is really athletically fit, which this movie showed off a shit ton. Like, it was really cool. So for me, it was a bit more forgiving. Like, at least I think writers want to kind of add that in, not because of movies like Star Wars, but I feel like if they didn't add that scene in, then people that watch this might kind of feel like what they feel about Rey, where they're like, oh, why does she suddenly know how to like use a weapon or whatever?
There's already complaints
about this one
going on. Well, there's some people calling her out, Lara Croft, in this movie as the Mary Sue archetype.
I
don't get that.
No, it's like, have you played a Tomb Raider game before?
Exactly.
Or have you seen the other movies? Like,
you're lucky to make it through as the player, let alone her as the main character. That is pretty, like, she's, you will die a lot, and they obviously have over 80 different animations of dying in QuickTime events that are unique to an area to show, no, she's not. See? But
I mean, I kind of always saw her like, it's somewhere between Indiana Jones and like James Bond as far as like tactical fight, because Indiana Jones kind of is kind of like how she's in the game, where he's just more like he barely survives out of just like wit and occasionally shooting someone. But the original Tomb Raider is like, no, she's skilled at what she fights tigers and like crazy like artifact things, and just like, why is she Mary Sue? Like, why is this an issue all of a sudden? And this movie actually took the time to explain. It's like, she's on the street. She's not trying to spoil herself with all the inheritance that was left behind.
Because it's hard to, there's a big leap she would have to take. She's not willing to admit, she needs proof that she's able to sign, such a document to have an inheritance like that. It's not, she knows in her heart, it's not mine yet. It still belongs to someone breathing. And I just thought, like, that's an amazing thing to build a character like this off of.
She's like a good version of the Iron Fist guy. He was the worst. He was terrible, but same kind of deal, right? It's like a billionaire that doesn't
Freaking
live like a
surfer
billionaire.
Duke talking about like Buddhist monasteries and stuff.
You don't understand. My
lame.
parents died in a plane crash. Okay. Yeah, that was basically him the whole time.
Yeah. But yeah, you know, I really I will give my full just summary of what I thought of the film as a whole. I found it to be, you know, a predictable but, you know, fun enough film. Generic script, obviously, because this is trying to get for mass appeal.
Right.
One thing that saves it later on that I won't say yet because that'll be kind of more of a segue, but
Right.
I would like to add that this film tends to be, you know, a predictable, somewhat generic action film with a lot of really, really good moments scattered throughout. Right. And it was those moments that was making me say, I'm not checked out whatsoever.
Right.
This is a fine action movie. And mainly it was the fact that they're kind of playing with the idea that this is ridiculous. My favorite thing in the whole movie was basically when Laura actually kind of breaks the fourth wall in a way and assumes the mindset of the player of the games for 1 second when she sequence involving obviously the parachute and the plane and this careening waterfall level or sequence. I should just say level, I guess, in which, you know, like mishap after mishap just gets her into like the worst,
I know what you're
worse
talking
and
about
worse
now.
and worse situation. Until eventually she just looks
like,
right at the camera like, really?
Yeah,
you know? And
come
like,
on.
and that's literally like what I'm saying all day yesterday. Like, really?
Yeah.
Really? Another cliff? You know?
Another collapsing
Yeah, it's like
plane.
you keep thinking you're literally dying. It's just like animation of you dying. No, it's just more
more quick time events.
more quick time sliding, and then more wolves.
We're still talking about the movie.
Yeah, but
first of all.
but yeah, it's self-aware of how ridiculous the games get, and just lets you know, like, really, oh, come on.
And the movie
you know?
movie did well to embrace a lot of that. Which
It did.
It's great.
There's one other gripe I have though. No wolves. I was actually disappointed there was no wolves. And also they got rid of the cool name of the islands. It's no longer the Dragon's Triangle.
Oh.
Now it's the Devil's Sea.
Devil's Sea.
You know,
yeah.
which sounds too real life, you know?
Right.
I liked Dragon's Triangle. That sounds like Jackie Chan Adventures. You know?
And it'll also kind of tie into that Trinity theme too as well.
Yeah. Well, hey, maybe it'll come back then.
Maybe it will come back.
Okay, never mind. I should shut up on that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that was like my main plus is that, you know, there's great moments scattered throughout.
Right.
It was, you know, obviously PG-13, so it's not going to be even close to as violent as the game.
Oh my God. I was so surprised at how dark and like gory that the game gets.
You literally swim through corpses and blood.
Yeah, just covered with it.
Yeah, they literally rip a scene right out of Apocalypse Now. As you're just pulling a Marlon Brando in a sea of just nothing but corpse. It's gross.
Yeah.
But yeah. So, but regardless, it still has, you know, some weight to its, you know, violence factor, I guess.
I think they pushed it a bit. They didn't push it as far as some PG-13 movies have. I think like even the Hunger Games maybe was a bit more like grittier in some ways than this was, but they were able to. They do have like, you know, blood shots and all things like that, and people getting shot in the head and like. There was one scene which is not really like a spoiler, but one thing that I thought was interesting is that they did reenact several key moments, like including her getting stabbed through the side with like the thing with the pipe or whatever.
Yeah.
Like it was cool. So, you know, fans would be like even I was like, oh my God, I just played the game yesterday, but I know what this scene is. Like this is exactly what happened. So it's interesting to see how this movie handled the fandom versus things like DC. In that, you know, for DC, it was cool to see like the characters, but then the rest of it, you're just like, what is going on? In my opinion.
No,
Just
totally.
Like, what is going on?
Yeah, for them, you know, they don't know they don't have a blueprint mapping out what they're heading towards.
Yeah.
So there's no way for them to actually attribute any kind of fan service, which those films should call for if they really want it to be a success. Let's just face it. This film knows what it was doing.
Yeah.
There's already an established narrative. There's already tons of storyboard. You just play the game and just rip whatever works.
Right.
And base a story around that loosely.
Yeah.
That follows it. They pulled enough names and enough references. You won't get Quint in this movie. I really wanted the Jaws dude to be in this.
Yeah.
The closest thing you get is like the guy who owns like the MMA.
That's
ring.
what I was gonna say.
Yeah.
I'm like, is that gonna be the Jaws guy or the other guy?
Yeah.
The
There's a lot of
sniper guy?
characters she meets before she leaves that I thought were going to follow her on the adventure.
I thought so too. I thought that's what they were setting
I
up.
thought Nick Frost.
That would have been
was
so
gonna
great.
follow her.
Okay, so Nick Frost is in that movie, and he's
Yeah.
actually really, really good.
Yeah.
And so I'm gonna give my quick, I guess, just review of it. I thought it was a really solid movie. I went in with low expectations, mainly because of the trailer.
Yeah.
And
the trailer
also,
it was pretty.
Yeah.
The trailer refused to tell you anything, even though you think you know what the story is. It's almost, the trailer felt as if whoever edited it was not confident in its story.
Yeah, no, the trailer had like a weak soundtrack. Like we were just talking about it. It's just two chords going dan dan, dan dan, and that's all it was. And they just showed you some of the action sequences. And sometimes when they release trailers, they release them without all the finishing details on the post-production.
Yep.
I don't know if this was a case, but the CG looked not kind of great. It looked like it was going to be like a lot of cheap CG and like a lot of over-the-top action with no kind of substance.
Like the first Thor movie kind of was, like not convincing explosion effects.
Thor was interesting because it did feel a little low budget once they got on Earth, and it was just like this weird dusty town. You're like, this is the only set you had to work with. Like, what is this? This feels weird. It feels like a weird like LARPing, like that's what it felt. But this movie felt solid all around. Like I nothing impressive about the soundtrack in this one, although it was better than the trailer soundtrack.
Yeah.
The costuming was good enough and convincing. It didn't feel cheap. And it kind of reminded me, like, if this movie had come out maybe around the time that the original Tomb Raider came out, like, I feel like this would be like a pretty well-received, just popcorn action movie, because it was just solid. It was predictable.
Yeah.
But honestly, like, I like seeing movies that take risks, but maybe it was a good idea for them to do something that would just be like, all right, this is good enough as the mainstream appeal. They fixed some story issues that I had with the game, which is I didn't have any sort of emotional hook with any of the characters in the game. There's just too many of them, and you're supposed to feel bad, and you just kind of didn't.
Yeah.
And some of them are kind of a little annoying.
Yeah.
And in this movie, they had I forgot his name, but the fisherman or the boat captain.
Lou.
Lou. I don't know, guy from Hong Kong that she meets in Hong Kong.
Yeah.
Which is interesting. I'm wondering if they did that. I was always trying to be aware of this now. Is like China's such a huge movie market now that I'm wondering if they got a Chinese actor for that to have more of a global appeal, because movies like this tend to not do so great in just the US, but then can make up its costs.
China's the second biggest market for
Exactly.
any film, and this directly markets it to it. I'm actually, now that you bring that up, I'm interested in seeing what the Chinese cut trailer, or at least the Asian region trailer, looks like. It might focus a lot more on that.
Right.
And that's how they could hook it in and then possibly make it a success enough for them to lead into the Trinity film, I guess.
I didn't even know his character existed in the other trailer. Like, he did a good job. I actually thought that he was very entertaining.
No, he was good. He was good.
He was a good character.
He was for such, a character, I was really... I felt, like this is the kind of companion that she needs, support and someone to really make sure that she's covered when she has to go for a certain goal. He was kind of sidelined a little bit too much near halfway through.
I agree.
I wanted to see him utilized more actually in the main mission. It seemed kind of like obviously you've seen Monty Python Holy Grail, I'm sure.
Yeah.
It felt like, this is not really a spoiler, just, something that happens.
Right.
Once eventually they get into the tomb, he and, a band of, basically, ex laborers, basically, who were taken captive, want to help rescue them, and they're running towards the cavern to get them out. And but it keeps cutting back and forth to the inside of it with the main posse, to the outside of it of them approaching it, and they keep on like, are they ever going to reach the actual cave?
Yeah.
By the time that they actually get there, they're finally there when everything's done and said, and the climax has already happened.
Yeah.
There's not really much of a cavern. But I mean, like, it was like that scene in Monty Python where Lancelot's running over the hill over and over and over and over and never getting there until eventually, boom, and like, it's just like, it felt, something like that, where it's like, you had every chance to put him back into the main story and you didn't.
Okay, but in Monty Python, that was an amazing payoff.
No, it was absolutely incredible.
I love that.
Yeah.
But no, I agree. It would have been cool to see more of him. But again, I think they did try to, they cut the movie. They wrote the script in a way that was focused, which was good. It was refreshing. There's a lot of movies coming out, like video game movies, but not only just that, just fan movies or these kind of action movies that are not focused enough, that they try to do too much. And I'm glad that they did focus this one, because it's at least a good enough foundation to continue the series. So my overall review, good enough script, good actor. I really liked Alicia. I think she does a really
Vikander
good.
does good.
Oh my god, she's a great.
I mean,
Lara Croft.
she won an Academy Award her first year being in the major U.S. audience. She'd been acting for many years before that, but as soon as she goes Western, she snags an Oscar. Yeah. So I knew she'd be good. She's one of my favorite, current actresses, up and coming into, more and more roles, finding what her real demographic is.
She was great in Ex Machina.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah.
That
was awesome.
Perfect. So that was the least of my worries, is us finally, getting someone who can really play this.
Yeah.
It was just all about how they're going to set it up for her, the best actress in the world can't make the worst script ever seem good.
No, that's true.
And luckily, this wasn't the worst script ever. It was just, bubblegum popcorn.
Yeah.
Like, what do you go into this not expecting anything other than that?
No.
And that's exactly what I expected. And the popcorn was fine.
Right.
It wasn't too buttered. No. And the salt wasn't too out of hand. I could still taste the kernels. So, all in all, I think, generic movie, but you go into it expecting that. Yeah. And you come out realizing that wasn't bad. That was like, when Pirates of the Caribbean was good. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, I miss those days. So
I feel like Pirates of the Caribbean is going to get, or definitely got a way better reception than this movie will.
Oh yeah. This is tainted with a pre-cultural kind of ignition that says video game movie bad.
Yeah.
Skipping,
Yeah.
They won't give it a chance for those who are in the know, saying, "Oh, it's based on a video game." Totally not. Especially after, we'll get to it later, but I think that from what I've heard online and seeing what people are saying, a little indie film they made a couple years back called Assassin's Creed was kind of the nail in the coffin for most people, saying, this one was literally marketed directly as the first really good one made by the designers.
Yeah.
And it was still shite.
Yeah.
So basically, I don't know.
I didn't see that, but it looked really bland.
I saw the first half. Someone was watching it on some streaming service, and a lot of talking, a lot of history stuff. It was, Desmond.
Yeah.
And I was just like, well, hopefully they do like a Leonardo da Vinci code or something, and he gets a feather, But I have no clue really how the movie works out. It seemed like it was becoming kind of like a Daniel Craig James Bond movie set in medieval times, which I'm all about. That's fine. But I have no opinion really. All I know is unanimously almost considered bad. So
yeah. Like it was like some of the reviews for that was like it's embarrassingly bad.
Yeah, and it's like, Michael Fassbender.
Really he's a great actor.
Like her boyfriend or husband in real life.
Oh, is it?
So yeah.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
I forgive me. I don't know if she's married to him or not. But I know that they're together.
Oh, I didn't know that.
To me, that was like funny because it's like, okay, well, he's out, she's out, and she did fine, Yeah. Or her film was not bad.
No,
I was expecting it to be.
Yeah, no, I was expecting it to not be like any good and be like, oh god, this is so bad.
Yeah.
But no, I think any fan of Tomb Raider should go see it. I think that they'll have a good time. Hopefully.
Yeah.
I mean, I know.
I would
gamer
definitely
fans,
say though, just see it if you're a fan of Tomb Raider though, because it's not good enough to really equal any of the classic action films.
right.
You know, because it's stuff you've seen before, but what makes it different is that this is stuff taken from the video game version of those things. So I would definitely don't be excited that this is an action movie on the same level as like Commando, you know,
right.
or First Blood. It's not.
Or Indiana Jones or anything like that.
Yeah.
Which is more adventure-y, but you
Yeah.
know, it still kind of falls in that.
Exactly.
action-y
This is
category.
definitely still, even though it's an adventure plot, it's much more action than it is adventure because it's
Yeah.
very quick.
No, it
It's
is.
very
it is
it's
quick.
very fast.
It's a good Netflix movie.
There you go. Yeah, there you go.
If
It's-
it comes out on Netflix, watch it. If you're
Yeah.
a fan of the series of Tomb Raider in general, you should watch it. And I think personally, even if I hadn't played the other games and thought, I think maybe I would have enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Like I think it's a good enough movie. Maybe depending on how much your tickets cost. For us, it's like $15 now a ticket,
Yeah.
which is pretty high up there. If you got Movie Pass, go check it out for sure.
yeah.
Movie Pass is great. I don't have it yet, but it's great.
But trust me.
But it's great for things like this. And, you know, the riskier movies, I should say.
Yeah.
Definitely not The Shape of Water. Definitely not as good as that.
Definitely not Get Out.
But they also just announced or they just released a trailer, I think, a day ago for the third Tomb Raider game, which I think we should check out.
We should.
We should definitely do
Yeah.
that. Do we want to do that before we talk about video game movies in general, or do you want to just do that while we're still on Tomb Raider?
You know what? Let's do it.
All right. We're gonna bring it up. So just yeah, we haven't seen it yet. Let's see.
So it's funny because I've still not played the second one. You know, I've not played Rise.
Oh yeah.
But to me, I don't really care because I think I know how these games work.
Wait, Shadow of the Tomb Raider.
Yes.
Is that what it is?
Yes.
Okay. There was on Twitch 2 nights ago. There was like a Tomb Raider interactive Twitch plays thing. I didn't take part of it, but you could submit commands. I don't know how well it did. Okay, so this is a teaser trailer, so it's not going to be that much. Let me go ahead and bring up the camera. Okay, so it's up now on the feed. Let's go here. Getting some Avatar vibes. So they really didn't show very much.
No.
It definitely felt like I was watching Predator, and then it felt like Avatar for a second.
It's like
Wait,
it's the
what is
same,
that?
It sounds like the same soundtrack as the movie trailer.
Yeah, Jun. What's this? What is that thing? Is
That
that like a spooky goat demon?
she's falling.
Yeah.
So you got some South American looking architecture
yeah.
here.
Another temple underneath the ground. So, you know, we'll see. I wonder how long you can make a game be based in the jungle before it starts to kind of just look like, you know, a little bland.
Yeah.
Just because the first one was primarily in the jungle, this one is too. But
Yes.
you know, I'm gonna keep an eye on it. I'm gonna keep an eye and see if the full trailer has a lot more to say. Oh, look, Far Cry 4. Huh.
Whoa.
Whoa.
Why is that there?
It's just yeah. I don't know.
It's the same soundtrack.
That was a game that I was actually disappointed in after playing the third one. Third one was so good. But yeah, so Tomb Raider. Let's switch back. Oh, we switch back? Okay, cool. So Tomb Raider. What do you like giving numbers or no? No numbers.
I mean, I'm in Letterboxd, so I can give 1 to 5, which is my preference.
Right.
And to me, this is a 3.
3.
It's a 3-star movie. You know, it's popcorn entertainment. You're not gonna hate yourself for seeing it. You're not gonna hate Roar for making it. That's the director's name.
Oh, okay.
Roar.
Roar.
And I know it's not pronounced like that. I'm not sure, but Yeah, it's worth checking out for the sake of not checking it out and regretting it for some reason. I'm really stretching this. I don't know.
No.
Just
3 out of 5. 3 out of 5. I agree with that.
okay. Yeah.
It's entertaining enough. It's definitely better than Transformers, like all of them.
Yeah.
Definitely better than Transformers.
Definitely better than
Definitely better than Suicide Squad. If you like Suicide Squad, you'll probably like this.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely better than I would say Sharknado 2.
Whoa.
No. Well, no, it's better than Sharknado 4. That one was not good. Okay.
Was that the one where they added the whales in the tornado too? Or
No. This is the one where they give Tara Reid a lightsaber hand.
What?
And the camera literally zooms in on her and she goes, "May the force be with you."
Oh my God.
Which is like a subtle reference.
All right. So what was that thing you were going to bring up earlier?
Oh, about the movie.
Yeah.
I was going to say one more pro to it.
Mm-hmm.
And the pro, which I kind of iterated later on, I'll do it again, was that it's good because, or the one thing that I say saves the movie is that it's so fine and okay
Right.
that you literally can say, and this is to me, instead of it being a compliment to the movie, it's just a further bastardization of like the rest of this exact genre. It's literally one of the better video game movies, period.
It is.
Because it's not bad.
That's
Which
sad.
is something you can never say about almost any other movie in
That's
that
sad.
subgenre. That's cursed. And it's funny because it wasn't even great.
Nah.
It's just like better than 90%.
There's a spark of hope though.
Yeah,
I think in the way that Wonder Woman was that spark for DC,
Yeah.
extended universe or whatever.
which they have immediately extinguished.
Yeah, I would like to see a sequel of this one. I would like to see what they do with the sequel. Actually, I heard, I don't know how true this is, but I heard that since it's Square Enix films, that they're actually going to try to do other movies based on like Hitman, things like that, and kind of have their own Square Enix like universe. I don't know if it's all connected.
I
That'd
hope
be
it's
a
not.
stretch, right?
I really was not. I'm
Hitman
honestly
and-
like, stop doing universes. I miss when movies could be movies.
Right.
And you could just like watch it, credits happen, and then maybe a second one will come out.
Well, I mean,
You
like,
know?
what about like the monster universe, right?
Ugh. That didn't really work.
Hey,
So-
I can only see one of you at a time. Yes, that's intended. We
Yeah.
have multiple cameras, 3 cameras, sometimes a wide shot and sometimes focus, depending on, what's going on.
Yeah, or sometimes just a shot of a really, really short and kind of inadequate trailer for Tomb Raider, Rise of the Tomb Raider, or whatever Tomb Raider.
Right.
Yeah, that was too short.
Okay, so we got a list of games that we've seen, or movies based on games that we've seen.
Yes.
So let's talk about those. Is Tomb Raider? Well, you said it was the best one out of all of them,
Out of what?
out of all the video game movies.
Not the best. Definitely one of them.
One of the best.
And that's sad to say that.
Right.
You know? It just shows how bad this market is. And the first ever video game movie they ever made is still considered one of the most disappointing. And I say that with full apology
What movie
to
was it?
to the man controlling our feed. That would have to be okay. Really quickly, when was the first time you saw the Super Mario Brothers movie?
Honestly, not when I was very young. I've seen
Yeah.
clips of it, but it wasn't until I was on the internet a lot that I
Sure.
even knew about it.
Yeah.
Actually, no, I knew about it then, but I didn't really like.
Because I have a funny story about when
Yeah,
I first saw it.
yeah, no, I just like. Someone brought it up. I think it was on Newgrounds that people
Yeah.
would like kind of bash on it, right?
Yeah.
And then it'd be like, "Oh, I haven't even watched this thing. Like, let's
Yeah.
give it a try." And it's just like, "Oh god,
let's
Let's,
undo that.
let's undo that, guys. Stop talking about this movie."
Yeah,
please.
it didn't happen.
Yeah.
No. To me, okay. I first saw this when I was, I think, like 7 or 8, and it was on HBO. And my mom was yelling, "It's like, Sterling, get in here!" And I'm like, "What?" It's like, look, it's a Mario movie, Mario. And I'm sitting down, and I'm watching this movie of this live action movie of this dude in like overalls, and
Right.
this other dude in
Drunk
overalls,
on set.
yeah. And like They're in like Gotham City.
Do the Mario.
Yeah. And there's like weird reptilian Uncle Festers walking around with tiny heads.
Yeah, I don't
And
get
I'm like,
that.
And I literally looked at my mom and said, "Where's the Mario movie?
Where's the Mario?
Did you change it?" You know, like I like, this isn't Mario. Have you? I was literally mad. Like, have you never played Mario? Just because his name's Mario doesn't mean it's Super Mario.
Right.
You know, I was like, well, how ridiculous can you be?
Maybe
You
that's
know?
what they did. Maybe they branded it Mario after the fact, and they just changed some of the designs.
We gotta salvage. We gotta get some return on this.
Yeah. Someone's like, they already planned the budget. They wrote the script, and they're
Yeah.
like, you know what? The fact that this guy, like this little lizard people, you know what else has lizard people that kids love? Mario. Let's just make everyone based on Mario. I don't understand how they got the approval for some of these designs. Like, why was someone like, yeah, this is exactly what a Goomba looks like? You know, it's a little tiny lizard-headed guy with a suit. That's what a Goomba is. Did they even play the game?
No, it's literally like, if you ever seen Puppet Master, it's literally Pinhead, like from Puppet Master, like a tiny head, giant body, huge hands, and just, you know, can clock you like nothing.
It's like Earthworm Jim.
Like, yeah, it's like
awkward
they
proportions.
totally mishmashed games. And I gotta say though, like one thing I can praise it for, probably has the most accurate depiction of like a game's final villain.
What, Bowser?
Bowser's literally Dennis Hopper with a horrible haircut.
Yeah.
like that's Bowser, you know?
That's him.
Have you seen Bowser? I'm
That's
sure
the
you.
Kingpin. No,
I'm sure you guys have played Melee. You know, he's like, you know, big lizard dude.
The new Super
Spikes,
Smash Bros.
iconic.
Trailer.
Yeah.
You saw him there, right? Big suit, big white suit. Rick hair from Rick and Morty, but just like terribly done.
Yeah.
Very short, awkward. It almost looks like. I wonder if we can even just bring it up.
Oh, it's so.
Bowser.
It's so amazing. Like the fact that.
Can we switch to the camera feed or to the computer feed, please?
Oh my God.
I'm just gonna bring up Google Images. Yeah, how was that? And they still like gave him the tongue.
Yeah. Well, because he's totally a reptilian, right?
Right. Like, how did they get away with this? I don't know. I don't even understand. Oh, is he holding a bazooka?
Yes.
Oh, is he holding the Super NES blaster? Is that what that's supposed to be?
basically. It's a super scope.
This actually reminds me of just this one screenshot reminds me of what's that Spy Kids? It's like that kind of absurd, like uncomfortable
over
feel.
the top yet still safe for kids villain.
Yeah, it's just kind of weirds me.
I'm gonna take away all the candy in the world.
It gives me that weird
Like,
feeling. Like
I'm a terrorist.
when I first watched Beetlejuice, I also had that like. You know that scene where the parents like get all like demonized and deformed?
Yes.
That's what this reminds me of.
It reminds me of the ending when they shrink his head in the waiting room.
Yeah.
You know, like that's literally how they're making Goombas in this world. It's
all right. Well,
it's
enough
pretty
of
funny
that.
actually. But yeah, so also shout out to the raptor from Jurassic Park for playing Yoshi. You know, best role he's ever had since Jurassic Park.
Oh my God.
I mean,
Yoshi. You know the Do the Mario song, right?
Yeah.
Do the Mario.
Yeah.
That's all I ever think about when I think of Mario Brothers.
It's so bad.
Spooksy, yeah, we did talk about Tomb Raider. Basically, very good as far as video game movies goes. It's like it's good, it's entertaining, it's not great. It's worth it if you like the new game series, if you like Tomb Raider. That's a basic gist.
Yeah, it's a very okay movie.
Yeah.
That's not bad, and because it's just okay, it's already better than 90% of all video game movies ever made. And that's sad.
That is sad.
But
we're going through other video game movies.
We are,
so.
and we just started that. You're new to this list, so let's keep on going. Okay, now here is one series that I love that just recently ended, and to this day I've only seen only 1 and 2
You
of
love
this franchise.
wait, you love the game series or do you love the movie series?
Game series.
The game
series. When it comes to the movie adaptations, I only saw the first 2.
Right.
I saw part of 3.
Okay.
And I was done. So basically, Resident Evil.
I've sat through actually
Yes.
all of them except for the last one, and
Oh,
I
wow.
kind of want to see how it ends because they definitely
Yeah.
muddied up the whole story. Not even just the Resident Evil story, but the story within their own movie
Yeah.
franchise. They
Yeah.
also fucked up, and I'm pretty sure it's been the same director the whole time, or
It
at
has
least most
been.
of the time.
It's been Paul W.S. Anderson.
Yeah,
And people know it's not PTA. The guy who made There Will Be Blood did not make this series. So, no, it's the first installment of the series was like, it's sad to say, it was the most toned down and like believable. And it was
Resident Evil?
Yeah, but
Yeah.
it was still not it's not the story of the original game.
No,
You know,
not
they're
at
not
all.
going through exactly the mansion, and I hope it's not Chris's blood.
Well,
you
yeah,
know,
and it's a
not
new
like-
character. It's a character
Yeah.
that doesn't exist in the game.
new
It's
characters,
Alice. Yeah,
for
new
the most
characters,
part. You
right.
know, it's
Not until the second one do we even get
yeah,
one familiar character, I believe.
exactly. Like the first Resident Evil to me was, it was so detached
Mm-hmm.
from anything that I thought it was really boring.
Ah,
You know, like I was bored because I was so isolated from this series that I'm such a fan of.
Mm-hmm.
They had every chance to use any story from any of the games. Primarily 1 through 3.
Mm-hmm.
Nah, you know, and
I feel like this movie, actually, as far as video game movies go, like this one probably is the most well received out of all
Well-
of them. The series.
Oh,
like,
of the
there's a
series,
huge,
yeah.
huge
no, yeah.
fan base for Resident Evil, and maybe it's just because I was younger when I watched the first one, like because I watched it like on VHS.
Yeah.
And I really enjoyed it at the time. Now that being said, I wasn't a hardcore Resident Evil fan.
Yeah.
I
That's where my problem lies.
Right. Like I played the games. I thought they were entertaining.
Mm-hmm.
Even at the time, I thought the controls were. Capcom has a weird thing, or at least
Yeah.
in that era, with
Yeah.
how they set up their cameras and the character walks around and like you switch angles,
Yeah.
and now suddenly you're like all
Yeah.
confused. You're like, why is my
See,
character
I
walking
think
around
this is
like
a really
this?
interesting conversation because as a developer,
Right.
to you, it's a frustration factor.
Yeah.
It's kind of every opportunity that you think is missed that you would have done to make it better and alleviate some pain.
Right.
And then from like a consumer perspective of someone who ingests horror movies
Right.
like Lucky Charms, it's like it literally aids in the stress and fear factor because you know you have no control. And, you know, if you see a dog busting through the window, you got
Right.
to turn around slowly, aim, hopefully you hit him.
Yeah.
And it's, you know, I think that's why the games are so dynamic in that era that have those controls, because either it's going to frustrate someone and piss them off for the
Right.
right reason, or it's going to scare them and make them want to pause the game really quick out of fear for the right reason. You know, so
Well,
it's
yeah.
I think that it was a success no matter how you receive it.
I think it's kind of a success. So from the designer perspective, I think like that is a good feeling. Like if you are intending to stress out your player and you achieve that, that's good. That's
Yeah.
just like bottom line, that's good. But at the same time, I don't think it should ever come from those issues. I don't think your frustration should come from bad controls. Because Mario 64 had already been out, I believe, the time Resident Evil, it was Mario 64 and
Same
then
year.
PlayStation 1. It was close enough to see, and obviously they're different kinds of
Yeah.
games, right? But to see the difference and the kind of control you have over your character in that versus the control that you get. I understand making the game not be like Doom, right? You don't want to make
Yeah.
Resident Evil like Doom, kind of like the newer games are
Even
starting to
though
be like
they
run and
did
gun.
want it to be first person at first.
Oh, they did want it to
go
be
through that
first person.
development and they realized they didn't have the technology for that.
Yeah.
And
It would have looked like a click and point adventure game because
Yeah.
everything was already pre-rendered anyways.
yeah, they had a top down one too. And that
Oh.
didn't work because it wasn't immersive. You didn't feel attached to the story.
Right. Yeah.
And
you couldn't be
then
scared.
They ended up going with what they did, and it worked for the time.
It worked for the
because
time.
it was brand new.
Yeah.
You know, and think about it. They really only went 3 installments in with that style until they switched it up
To 4.
like to me.
the 4 was a huge jump.
Oh yeah,
It was basically the same jump from Super Nintendo to N64.
exactly,
almost.
exactly.
That much of an impact.
Granted, I'm not counting Outbreak or Code Veronica as like main series installments.
Right.
Those are just like in case you can't get enough.
Yeah.
But yeah, with the main 3, then that's when they realized, you know what, we gotta somehow update this now because we have too many competitors.
Right.
You know, they had Clock Tower 3, They had Silent Hill in. They had Eternal Darkness on GameCube. Somehow Nintendo thought that was great. Still one of the best GameCube games ever made. But
that has a movie too made based on it, right?
not yet.
Not yet.
At least I don't.
I thought that was a movie. I haven't watched it, obviously.
If it is, why haven't I seen this? I mean, that would be the most amazing story ever. That would have to be a Netflix series, honestly, like taking place different time periods every episode.
Right.
But it'd be like reading Rainbow with Alex Roivas opening the tome. But no, it'd be so going back. The film did not represent the game.
Yeah.
The film tried to be its own thing with the same name to make money.
I think probably that is what what actually happened, but I think sometimes when you cross a kind of media from game to movie, sometimes it honestly would have been better if they had just like taken that as like an inspiration and a source, and then done their own thing. So
well, that's what happened with Devil May Cry. They were making Resident Evil 4, and then it sucked, but then they decided to make it a hack and slash and made Devil May Cry instead.
Is that what happened?
Yeah. It was originally, it was a tank control Resident Evil game with Leon, and then they changed it into Dante. They just made his hair white, gave him like some different clothing.
Devil May Cry 4?
No, the first one.
Oh, the
Devil
first
May Cry.
one.
And then Resident Evil 4, they made a whole new engine.
That's really interesting because I was just watching James play the first Devil May Cry, the HD version of it, and he was pointing out like, this just looks like Resident Evil. And we were just like looking at it and it's like, shared assets and the same kind of weird control issue that I was having where it's like the steady shot. So that's interesting that you said that because that totally makes a lot more sense.
It's the same
now.
engine somehow.
Yeah. It's Capcom, so that makes sense. Like,
Burn. Anyway, the first Resident Evil was the easiest one to follow, and it was a fun shoot 'em up little flick. If it wasn't called Resident Evil, I thought it would have been even better because then it would just be a fun sci-fi channel movie.
Right.
But then
I always had issue with the ending.
Well, yeah.
In that. I liked the movie a lot, but I always did have. Sorry, I was just like thinking about like how the story kind of progressed. But what were you saying? No,
totally.
And then.
Oh well, actually, it's good you bring that up because I wanted to jump right into part 2, which was the only installment I ever saw in theaters.
Okay.
Because when I saw the trailer for this, I creamed endlessly. Still creaming. Just kidding, I'm not.
Because you thought it was going to be like the game.
It ended pretty quick. Yeah.
Because you saw Nemesis, right?
Yeah. I actually learned about this movie from Game Informer, an issue of that back in like 2000 or something. And there was a sculpt, like a clay sculpt of Nemesis's face. I'm like, what is this? Like Resident Evil Apocalypse comes out, like what?
Right.
And so I was really excited. I looked up the trailer on IGN because I thought I was young and stupid, and I thought IGN was reliable. And then I went there, saw the trailer, zombies, zombie dogs, Raccoon City, Nemesis. I'm like, yes. They are making a Resident Evil movie that's not just taking the name,
Yeah.
And I watch it, and Alice is on a motorcycle doing tricks that Blade would do. I'm just like,
and you're just like,
what am I watching now? Like it's funny because you start Resident Evil Apocalypse. It's literally like the opening cinematic from Resident Evil Nemesis, Part 3. And, you see everything from Carlos throwing the grenade to, the zombies tearing through the barriers and the cop cars just being pretty vacant. And, it's straight from the game.
Yeah.
And it's, Jill, one of the most screen accurate portrayals of any video game character ever.
Right.
Everything was working out great. Mike Epps randomly is in it, making GTA references and killing zombies, hitting them.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that character.
He's my favorite character in that movie. He's a great random
10 points.
Yeah, GTA.
Yeah.
But and then they get into the church,
right?
In which the pastor is feeding his zombified daughter parts. I'm like, this is insane.
This is what it's supposed to be.
Yeah, and then they're fighting lickers.
Yeah,
which is very iconic. Well, I mean, they had one. In the first, but now there's like multiple, and they have a huge.
Those are
arena.
bunnies, right? The liquors?
I think so.
Because the only so
well,
back to the first one because they're rabbits.
Hold on.
They're
1
bunnies. They're
second.
mutated bunnies. I'm pretty sure.
Yes.
Because in the first one, I don't know. This is just what I thought when I was looking and I first watched it. But they did the experiments with all the rabbits and stuff like that, and they had the cages of them, and then there was the liquor, and it never explained like you have the dogs as like they clearly look like dogs.
Yeah.
I'm like the liquor's got to
Really
be the
pissed
rabbits.
dogs.
They're just really crazy brain rabbits.
Yeah. Brain rabbit. No, yeah, like you see the liquors in the church, you know, and you know they're trying to shoot them, but they're too fast and they're scary.
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, this movie so far is pretty cool.
Right.
And then Alice breaks through the breaks through the stained glass and starts literally. She's like the original Bayonetta, you know. And this is the first example of like a supernaturally strong hero that at this point really has no explanation.
She's like action movie strong.
There's a brief explanation about, you know, her being experimented on, kind of.
Yeah.
Like, you know, and then she's just.
Does she have her powers in that movie?
She does. No, she's not like.
Yeah.
She's not Magneto yet.
She's not Magneto yet.
But yeah, she's
they take him away later, by the way.
They do.
They give him to her in like the third movie or something, or the fourth movie, and then like the next movie, they're like, nah, we're just gonna undo all that.
Yeah.
I think it's because one of your points is that the games and horror in general is that if you make the protagonists just normal people or like kind of weak, it makes it a lot more fearful, a lot more stressful. If you take that away as soon as you put a superhero-esque character in it, which is definitely what the later movies like tried to undo. They're like, nah, she's just a normal person now. No more mind blowing.
Yeah.
You know,
I saw parts of 3, 4,
stuff.
and 5, and like I couldn't watch them.
Right.
You know, it's just ridiculous. But mainly 4, when she's literally Magneto, psychic Magneto. She's Jean Grey. You know?
Yeah.
And I just
the Attack of the Clones episode, or did you see that
what?
one? Did you see the one where
when she's duplicated?
There's like 100 of her.
Yeah, I did. That was ridiculous.
And they're like, "This is it. We're gonna have the giant Alice war." That must have been your favorite moment if you're such a fan of Alice, and just being like, "There's not just one. Now there's 1,000.
Now
and they're
there's
all
1
pissed
million."
off. You know what's crazy is that there's 1,000 and they're all pissed off, and then the next movie they basically kill them off in like the first 2 minutes because they're like, "Shit, we made her even more powerful. Like, how do we keep on doing this?"
Yeah, it's like the threat in this series is eliminated as long as she's on your side.
Right.
You know, and that was the problem.
Yeah.
They forgot what series they were trying to make into a movie.
Yeah, it's I mean, I really like the actress. I think that as a character, she does a really good job.
Is great.
Yes.
She's a really good actress. I saw her at Comic-Con twice.
Oh, nice.
Super nice. And you know, she deserves, you know, all the recognition that she gets, I think, just on her character. But Paul W.S. Anderson is drunk. You know, that's all I gotta say.
Yeah.
So
okay, so let's talk about, because we could talk about, you know,
all
9
really
movies.
Quick. There's just one more thing. Well, I just have one more thing to talk about with Apocalypse. The ending again.
Right.
The ending.
I don't remember.
Resident Evil Apocalypse is Alice literally fist fights. She Bruce Lee's Nemesis. They have a kung fu match.
Wait, are you sure?
Yes, they literally just have a martial arts standoff.
Oh,
while
that's funny.
While the Wesker type dude, who's not really
fake Wesker,
is like, fight him.
Oh, yeah,
you know, I'm just like, what am I watching?
And then
this is Street Fighter now.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, how many Capcom games are you trying to fit in?
And then she gets pushed off a cliff and turns into a claymation dragon for a second, goes brah, and then swipes and then turns back into
and then you have Nemesis going
yeah, exactly. No one can take me. You win.
You're a winner.
Right.
No, so fun. But yeah, so let's move on.
Well, then they made Jill terrible later too. Just really quick. They
made her useless.
They made her disappear, and then they just kind of shoehorned her in later, and then it was just like, what the heck is going on? Yeah. But honestly, I kept on watching those movies because I was hoping like it would kind of fix itself.
Yeah.
In the way that I think Days of Future Past kind of fixed a lot of stuff, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Which is a great example of like, this is how you fix your series. Is do this. Not every series can have crazy time travel and like
They can't,
parallel characters.
You know, I mean, yeah. True.
Right.
With all of Alice's powers, you figure she can probably turn back time at this point. You know,
basically.
But no, you're right. They did destroy that. I will admit one thing. I kind of lost my steam wanting to watch because of part 3. Because the first character they kill off is Mike Epps, and I was just like, "Well, I'm done.
That's it."
You know?
Yeah. Okay, so I remember that. Doom. Doom. Let's talk about Doom.
Okay. I'm gonna admit something really embarrassing in a second, but you go first.
I was gonna say that I was in middle school when this movie came out, and I remember people talking about it. I had no idea that it was coming out. I didn't know until people were already like seeing it in the theaters.
Sure.
And then I learned that it has The Rock in it as like the main character or one of the main characters.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, that's cool. It's a weird story. I remember I had a like yard duty person that came up, and she was kind of like, you know, a lot of the kids liked her and stuff, and she was talking about the Doom movie. She's like, yeah, it didn't really have anything to do with anything, but you know, it was entertaining.
That's a great review, actually.
It
didn't really have anything to do with anything, but you know, it was fine.
It was fun to see, you know, The Rock just blow up things.
Yeah.
And just blow shit up with a shotgun.
This was back in 2005 when he was still just called The Rock.
Yeah, no, he's still just called The Rock. What are you talking about? If you knew him as The Rock, that's all you'll know him as, unfortunately.
The Rock and some guy named Carl Urban.
I don't see. I don't remember him.
At this point, I had no clue who that was.
I still don't. So there you go.
Really?
I just know The Rock.
Well, okay. Okay, here's my embarrassing thing.
Okay.
I saw this 5 times in theaters.
Oh.
Okay.
Why?
Okay, so first off, Doom is my favorite game of all time.
Okay.
It's my absolute favorite video game ever made. And when I knew that this was coming out, I had to see it the first day it was out because I heard it was rated R.
Right.
I heard it was very bloody. I watched the Comic-Con panel on like IGN again, on IGN back then, and saw like, you know, The Rock admitting like, man, I played this when I was like younger and I thought I was going to be sick. You know, I'm just like, sounds about right. And, you know, I go to see it. A bunch of friends come with me. The whole time we're watching, I'm like smile cringing. Like, this is great. I can't wait to see more. You know?
Just lying to yourself.
Yes. Because it's like, hey, it's Doom. They're in hell, right? No, they're on Mars. No, they're zombies, right? No, they're mutations. You know, like nothing. They got everything wrong in this movie. It was almost like they didn't want to offend Christians or something by putting demons in it.
Wouldn't even make sense because it's like, well, you're fighting demons. Like, what? What do you guys want?
Yeah, like the story of the actual game Doom is so simple yet compelling for that reason. Yeah, science gets too advanced. Elon Musk Jr. unleashes hell,
and creates a portal to hell, and then you just you're like, well, we can't undo this, so let's just kill all the demons.
We got to kill the demons and make sure someone lives, you know, and the cool story, you know, you can do whatever you want with that. In this, weird science center on Mars again. They master teleportation for no reason really. It's not really important other than getting from one base to another. And they experiment with like stem cell research and start turning each other into monsters.
I don't even remember this much. You saw it 5 times in the theater, so I understand why you did. Well, why did you see it a second time?
Because I thought it would be different.
You thought
I thought I would see it again. All of a sudden, it's really Doom.
Okay, why did you watch it the 3rd time?
Because a friend of mine hadn't seen it yet.
Oh, 4th?
4th time because I thought this time I was really gonna like the first-person shooter sequence.
Oh my god!
I saw it a 5th time.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
Why would you make it that far?
I think. Oh no, the 5th time was a date.
Oh, okay.
I apologize.
Okay.
No, yeah. So, and then I eventually bought it on UMD for my PSP.
Oh my god.
Well, it was cheap.
I mean, there was only like 4 movies that got released, so it's like you had 25%.
Yeah,
of
it was just Akira, Doom, How High, and I think American Pie 2. Anyway, so so
that movie was terrible.
I
watched it on Netflix, and I still was like, I don't know, man. I might cancel my subscription if this is the content they're going to be churning out.
Yeah.
No, but
no, I This was the one video game movie that literally one of the worst when it comes to accuracy that I saw multiple times because I can't watch my favorite video game of all time be this bad. I will see it again and again and again until I get it. There's something I'm not getting, right? No, it's terrible. It's shit. Even the first-person shooter sequence is ridiculous. They don't explain. It's not like Doom. There's like he turns a corner and there's like and he shoots him right in the face, you know, and like imps.
It's like a haunted house, like a shitty carnival haunted house.
Yeah, it was like going through a neighborhood haunted house. You know, take one, you know, and then like imps run away from the Doom guy, you know, and then like randomly there's a Hell Knight with a chainsaw. They never establish that there's chainsaws yet. There's chainsaws in Doom. They don't establish why there's a chainsaw on this Mars base. But he takes it, and then he fights Pinky, who turns into a Pinky, you know? Which was like the only cool part of that sequence. But it's still over in like 1 second, and then he just fights The Rock like it's...
I hardly even remembered that until you brought it up. But yeah, that was really bad. It's
the first Hardcore Henry.
I mean, yeah, exactly. I was about to say, I'm like, there's movies that attempt to do not first person like that, but attempt to do something similar.
Yeah.
And like, I've seen it where they do kind of like the Call of Duty Gears of War, where it's like really close up on the shoulders.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. We're getting rated by Game Meets Girl.
Woo!
That's awesome. Thank you so much. Game Meets Girl.
Sweet.
Am I a stream punk? Are we stream punks? I think so. We're kind of like...
It says steampunk.
No, stream punk.
Did you say stream punk?
She's the stream punk. Game Meets Girl.
I can't even see the...
Here you go. I'll make it a little bit.
No, there is no.
Larger.
Okay, yeah. Okay, you know what? It made it look like an H together. Okay, got it. That was my bad. Yeah. Okay.
That's awesome. Everybody that's just joining us from Game Meets Girl, did you guys enjoy? Were you doing some? Were you doing some?
I'm sorry,
electro
that was my
swing.
bad.
Electro swing. Is that what you're doing? I think that's. I saw that you went online, and I think that's what you were doing. That's really cool. Yeah, she does music, DJing, and she also does game streams.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I used to work with her.
Nice.
Yeah.
Super multi-talented. I love that.
Yes.
Nice. Thank you for being here.
Yeah. Thank you. We appreciate all the support.
Sweet.
We were just shitting on the Doom movie.
Yeah,
for those
I
of
saw
you
it
that
5 times in theaters, sadly, because I didn't want to believe it was that bad. I kept watching it until I realized, hey, maybe it's different now. Maybe it's actually Doom.
Yeah. So Game Meets Girl actually got me this Doge globe, which is the Doge meme in a snow globe. It's amazing. I actually have it. I brought it back from the office. So thank you so much, Game Meets Girl. Have you seen the new Tomb Raider movie? Just really quick, since while you're here, have you had a chance to check it out? Because I believe you're a big fan of Tomb Raider. Did you see that yet? Pixelated Soul. I have not yet.
Okay.
Well, if you're a fan of the game, which I believe you are, you definitely should check it out. It was definitely good enough and was pretty accurate to, like, they took a lot of good parts from the original story. I don't think it had anything to do with the sequel. I haven't played the sequel game, so can't really say that. But I think you're going to enjoy it. So, yeah, I hope you have a good time watching it on Sunday.
Yeah. Doom. Bad. Resident Evil 1 and 2, we just got done talking about those.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert. They're bad. So we're gonna.
I like the first one though. Our opinions are different on that. We're not.
Yeah.
I like the first. I actually like the first. Probably
I think my reasoning though is justified.
First three. I understand.
Okay.
I understand.
And Resident Evil, the second one had promise.
Yeah.
For obvious reasons.
Yeah.
Oh God, the next one.
Are we doing this? Or are we doing Mortal Kombat or Silent Hill?
Mortal Kombat.
Let's
get it out of the way.
Okay. All I'm gonna say is. Wasn't there a part? Wait, was this Mortal Kombat where he like does the splits and punches?
Yes.
Punches. What's his name? Baraka or something? He punches him in the balls.
Moro.
Oh, what's up? We got David Scott Jaffe here. Hey, what's going on? Okay, so quick I thought 3 out of 5. I know you're not big on the numbers thing, but if you're a fan of the games, which you told us yesterday that you were, definitely go check it out.
Yeah.
I think actually your kids might like it too. I think you said you were going to go see it with them. So definitely worth watching if you're a fan of the game. As far as action movies go, it was good. It wasn't great, but it was focused. It wasn't as bad as Suicide Squad or anything like that.
So I'll give my little review again to put it into all into perspective.
Yeah.
It was fine. It was okay. And because of those two buzzwords, it's 90%. It's better than 90% of all video game movies ever, and that's sad. Okay, so
Mortal Kombat.
Mortal Kombat.
Yes.
Oh wow.
3 out of 5 equals Apple TV. I guess we're seeing Greatest Showman again. No, it was. It's. I don't get it. It's weird that and this movie is kind of like beloved. Is that I feel like Mortal Kombat and for some reason Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles exist in like the same area. Like for me,
I
like in
can
my
see
brain,
Johnny Cage replacing Casey Jones.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
Like, it was so goofy. It was so. Do we have to really talk about it?
No. Like, I forget if it's 1 or 2, but just the too bad you will die.
Yeah. No, yeah. Too bad it is you who will die. Yeah. It's just like, what?
Mother, you're alive. You know, like every delivery is.
I don't get that.
We're done.
Yeah, we're
Okay,
done. Mortal Kombat, Claymation, Dragon Battle. That was Mortal Kombat, right? I think that was it. They turn into it for a second, don't do anything as dragons, and then change back into their characters.
Yeah.
Silent Hill. So we actually watched Silent Hill. I saw it for the first time. Revelations, the second Silent Hill movie. A couple of days ago. So I watched the first one, I think, in theaters. Yeah, and I was pretty excited because I'm a pretty big Silent Hill fan. I'm not like crazy, like I won't be able to tell you every single little bit of the lore or anything like that. But I'm a big fan of just the just everything about it, like the weird, cryptic, like ethereal feel of it, and like. It just playing that game kind of makes you feel like you're going insane at some points, and that's exactly what they want. It's a different kind of horror video game where it's the psychological aspect rather than like boom,
I did too.
Jump scare.
I did too. Actually,
yes. I liked the first Silent Hill, but it was weird because. I mean, I guess it's not really weird, but
it takes enough liberties.
It takes enough
where you're
liberties.
like, this is totally like the set design was great. They nailed that set. And they changed up, you know, how you experience the story. It's more like you're experiencing the lore in like real time as opposed to hearing tidbits of what happened to the town.
Right.
You know, which I'm okay with.
No, that's good.
Because you wouldn't get that in the games, at least not in this form.
Right.
And, you know, I enjoyed the whole, you know, distraught cultist, you know, we were led down the wrong path kind of thing.
Right.
And how, you know, Pyramid Head is not just, you know, stalking, you know, whoever's mindset is creating this version of Silent Hill. It's just trying to eradicate whatever is not following or fitting into place. It's like, it's like if Pyramid Head was every single member of the cult in Hot Fuzz and was just trying to eliminate any wrongdoers.
Right.
You know?
Oh, that's
with a
true.
big bushy beard. You know? So it was,
big bushy beard.
So
he was the enforcer, essentially, of the dark world and of the crazy corrupted code and all that stuff.
Yeah, Dark World. Speaking of, I want to see him fight Thor.
Pyramid Head versus Thor? I don't know. I think like Pyramid Head is basically invincible, but I feel like Thor would be able to beat him anyways.
Yeah.
In some like pretty easily almost.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's a weird mashup.
I know it is. I know. But regardless,
Yeah.
the first Silent Hill, not a bad movie. I actually put it in that top 10% of like good. You know?
Oh,
for a video game movie, good. You know?
Right.
You can't say it's, you know, a fantastic piece of cinema on its own.
Right.
You know, you need to have some kind of reference from its source material. But with that, you're good to go.
I mean, I think like
it's a good horror movie, you know?
It's a pretty good horror movie.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not a huge fan of horror movies in general, but I definitely enjoyed it. I definitely watched it multiple times.
Yeah.
And
probably not 5 in theaters though.
No, not 5 in theaters. I saw it one time in theaters, and then I saw it when it came out on like DVD and stuff.
I saw it like 3 times on DVD throughout years.
The ending was weird. I told you this before when we watched the second one, but the
Yeah.
ending was weird in the first one. I kind of liked that it was like this weird ambiguous, which kind of fits with the whole Silent Hill theme.
Yeah. Silent Hill and weird kind of go together.
Right. But it felt a little unsatisfying for me. Where in Silent Hill games, I do kind of feel like, oh, like, okay, I get it. Like, this is the experience.
You get a resolution.
Right, you get a resolution. And
And-
this one was like, kind of.
This is an ambiguous kind of,
Yeah.
well, maybe there'll be another one.
Maybe it's like The Mist. Do you remember the ending of The Mist?
Yeah, well, no one can forget that. Yeah. But
What'd you guys think? Did you guys think Silent Hill was... Did you guys watch it, first of all? And what'd you guys think of Silent Hill 1 or 2?
yeah, well, with Silent Hill Revelation, which you just saw,
Yeah.
you know, obviously that picks up somewhat.
It does. And
And,
it's based on the third Silent Hill, 3.
Yeah.
Or sort of based on it.
Basic. Well, the first scene is literally Silent Hill 3.
Yeah,
You know, it changes quick,
Right.
but
They tried to steer it back towards the canon of the game.
Yeah.
In the way that like to bring up Days of Future Past again, it kind of fixes some things. I
Yeah.
think that this movie attempted to fix some of the complaints of the first movie, which is like you
Yeah.
guys kind of took the story of the first two and mashed them into one, but it's not really clear. Like
and then added a whole nother fake game.
yeah,
You know, like that's what they did. You know, it was almost fan fiction, but it wasn't bad.
Right,
You know,
right.
this one, yeah, it was, you know, basically just trying to stick as much to 3 as they could. However,
with one less detective in it.
yeah, oh, that's pretty obvious. But it's again, it takes many liberties.
It does.
Goes out on a limb,
Mm-hmm.
and because it was caught up in the 3D fad,
Mm-hmm.
they had to create a bunch of kind of BS little shock jumps
Right.
that had nothing to do with the narrative of the game, just for the sake of cashing in on what they thought was gonna be the next thing in cinema.
I
It
hate
wasn't.
that. I hate that so much.
Yeah.
Like I hate like jump scares. Like most of the time are just very cheap. They're
Yeah.
very cheap things. They're just
Yeah.
like dramatic noise. Like if
Yeah.
there was no noise in the jump scare, it wouldn't be a jump scare. It would just
No,
be a
totally.
cut. It would just be a cut to whatever.
No, 100%. You know, and you know, okay, second one was good, but I like the first one better. 100% agree. The first one was a better movie in my opinion. The second one had enough entertaining moments
Right.
to make me enjoy my time. You know what I mean? I mean, we just saw this a couple days ago.
Yeah.
And I can agree. This is my second time seeing it. I saw it in theaters when it came out. And I liked it a lot, way more that it wasn't 3D effect. There was still, you can see the gags still,
Right.
but they didn't actually get in the way this time because
Because it was 2D.
exactly, you know, now it just looked like kind of lame attempts at being creepy,
yeah.
but I can forgive that.
First person
You know?
shot of a guy just going.
Yeah, the freaking like doll head, you know, and now it just looks kind of awkward.
Speaking of Dollhead though, one thing you did bring up, which I thought was cool, is that they did take some liberties, and the coolest thing was that spider mannequin creature. That
Yeah.
was a really great iconic
Yeah.
scene. Like that could be in the games. Like
Yeah.
you could see something like
To an
that.
extent,
and
it
would work.
is.
Right.
But in this, they make it like its own little version of like a nemesis creature for him.
Yeah.
And it's a good sequence. You know, it's a little too short, I think. I wanted to see a little more of it. But
and they threw in some random like, oh, we were just driving on the street and suddenly we're trapped here characters.
Yeah,
yeah. Because I feel like they needed to add other people. Otherwise, it'd just be these things all trying to kill. I don't remember what her name. Heather in the game, but that's not her real name in the movie.
not in the movie.
No, but they're all trying to kill Heather, and maybe not doing it because it's like if you just have one character and a bunch of creatures, it's just like,
Yeah.
oh, when are they gonna get her?
You need some kind of dynamic
You need to show what they do to other people. So.
Exactly. You know, there needs to be more stakes to it.
Right.
But also there needs to be a little more, not substance, because that's, you know, whatever, but you need a little more kind of reason to really care about seeing these people succeed through
Right.
whatever the goal is. You know, the goal of this one is mainly just survive, while the first movie was mainly just solve something.
Right.
You know, in this movie, it's kind of like, I'm going to solve a mystery as I'm trying to survive as collateral.
Well, it's the same
You know,
story though, right? I
basically.
mean, it's
Well-
like someone from their family gets
Yeah.
trapped in Silent Hill.
Yeah.
they have to go and find them.
Yeah.
Like that's kind of the
This one ends
Yeah.
up being a little more like redundant about it.
Yeah.
But at least it's from a new perspective from the same family that's being tormented.
Yeah.
I like that.
I like that.
But you know, one thing I got to say about it though is that I'm kind of going to spoil something, but I don't think it's not really that big a deal. My favorite thing by far about Revelation, other than the fact that they used the soundtrack
Yeah.
from the games,
Oh no, that was a good
very
touch.
sparingly, but amazingly.
Right.
Like Lost Innocence playing.
Oh, are you going
her-
to talk about the very, very ending?
Well, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have to.
Yeah, definitely.
The very, very ending
Yes.
of this movie is incredible.
The connections
because,
to the games.
Yeah, this film came out 1 year after Silent Hill Downpour did.
Right.
Which is one of the whatever.
It's
you know,
it's a
it
Silent Hill
it was
game,
like Resident
but-
Evil 4 Silent Hill version. But you basically get the very the beginning of Downpour combined with like the ending of Origins in like one like zoom kind of sweep. And it's
Yeah.
amazing. Like
Yeah.
it's so cool. I thought that was kind of like, it was almost like, okay, an article came out recently on Dread Central in which the director was saying that she has regret about the film and
Right.
she wanted to do
It's not just that though. It's Silent Hill 2 almost, right? Because that's the father story. is kind of
they
like
kind of
that.
fit some of that in. So
Yeah.
it's like 4 Silent Hills and like
It's-
one ending.
it was really cool.
But the director was talking about how she does have regret over
Mm-hmm.
how the film was not, I guess, fan servicey enough. To me, it's like
No,
there's no reason to worry about that, you
Yeah.
know. But her opinion is her opinion. It's her film,
Right.
And they just thought that it could have been a lot more, and probably could have allowed more installments if it was closer to the narrative. In my opinion, that would have been kind of tough to do because if you ever play Silent Hill 2, let's say if that's the next one they would do, there's not many characters to have conversations with.
Yeah.
You're kind of just walking around empty buildings,
Looking
until,
into mirrors, going like this.
yeah. Although I could watch an entire film if it's based on the historical society of
They
Silent
could.
Hill. That would be such an amazing, scary level with only one character the whole time.
Well, did you watch
But-
Legion, the show?
no, I didn't.
Okay, you should watch Legion because
Yeah.
I feel like there's multiple characters in that, but at least for the first like 2 episodes, it heavily focuses on just the one.
Okay.
And the way they kind of cut and stuff, like and do the psychological thriller, and the editing's really great. They could do a Silent Hill movie based on number 2 and keep it like a solo character and just
Yeah.
kind of their psyche devolving and all this crazy shit happening.
My
so.
main thing, I still
but
want
they
them,
kind of did that with the first one.
I want
so.
them to do a Silent Hill Netflix series or something.
Oh, that would be
in
great.
which the first episode is just like James walking down like the forest path the whole
you
episode.
brought this up.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to watch an episode where he's just walking.
No, you're like walking around and there's just like false scares everywhere.
No, I hate that. I hate that.
Not jump scares.
It doesn't matter.
You
It's
expect there to be something, but it's just like slowly like him contemplating what he's getting into. It's slowly creating the world that you're about to enter.
I don't know, man. Like when
You can run into Maria once.
no,
There you go.
you
no
gotta
Maria?
have something.
Man, what's it take to please you?
If that,
Come on, man.
like it's gotta have more than that. I hate fake scares more than I hate jump scares.
Fine.
That would be such a like a I don't even know. They would have to do some. I don't know. Oh, I could not handle that.
Fine. Episode 1 is him walking half the episode and then he gets to the apartment. There you go. We'll go into the apartment a little bit. Okay.
I mean,
done.
it could be like, I don't even know what this hypothetical Silent Hill show would be, but I think they could take the length of like Stranger Things and make a good Silent Hill thing based on one of the games.
Yeah.
That I totally agree with that aspect. Okay, so Silent Hill, was it? Wait, which movie were you saying was the worst? Oh, you said Doom was the least faithful
well,
for video games.
Super Mario Bros. Was pretty bad.
That was pretty bad, right?
But I would say that Doom is the least faithful but you know, of the ones that you can tell they tried.
Yeah.
Super Mario Brothers, I can't tell if they tried.
Well, I mean,
You
this is
know?
not really a game. There's games
With
based
a new
on
market, they don't know what to do yet. So
Yeah.
you can forgive it.
But what about? I mean, we have this one.
Okay, this one's not even a video game, but we have
to talk about Dragon Ball. Because if we're going to talk about movies that have like that are not faithful to the original source material and are just really terrible,
Yes.
I think we should be able to talk about this though, because it is part of that nerdy culture. It's an anime thing, but like basically
Well, they made a video
everyone knows
game
what Dragon
based
Ball
on the
is.
movie.
Really?
They did.
Oh my god!
It was a PSP exclusive.
We should stream that.
It's literally just Dragon Ball Z Budokai, but with the Justin Chatwin models and stuff. Like you
With the
play
guy
as
from
Chow
War of the
Yun-Fat
Worlds?
as Master Roshi.
Oh my god!
Yeah.
That's insane. I want to play that. That sounds amazing.
Oh, it's something.
Okay, so Dragon Ball Z, it's ass.
It's horrible.
It's terrible. I watched this for free and I was cringing. Jesus.
Yeah, like okay.
Let me just get this out here. There was a part in that movie at the very end when they were having a fight scene and they kill Piccolo, and they put like a bowl on the ground and he literally gets flushed into it. It's like a toilet bowl flush of energy.
No,
and he just spins and goes, ah!
Yeah, it's like the hunter in Jumanji.
Yeah. No, that was a better effect. This was like they took a screenshot, cropped him out shittily in like Photoshop, and then just did this and shrunk him.
Yes.
They just shrunk him down.
They did.
It was the worst fucking... That's
Well,
maybe the worst movie I've ever seen.
No, it's literally in my top 10 worst movies I've ever watched.
Oh my God,
Because like
it's
before,
so bad.
First off, the Kamehameha wave heals you.
Oh,
You know, but before you can shoot it, you have to do yoga first.
Yeah.
You have to like
You have to build up your ki
or something.
You have to build up your ki, okay? Get it right.
Basically, I guess.
I mean,
and
what if they just did the charge instead? That's pretty ridiculous. You got to admit, in the original anime, they're just... If they did that for 10 minutes instead,
you know
like the
how much
actual
I
anime...
wish they could have done it just because it wouldn't have mattered. You know? And like I like how like okay, look at the trailer again if you ever do like cuz in the trailer you have like this announcement of the characters in the movie. It's like Goku,
Right.
Piccolo, Yamcha, and then Mai. And you're like, wait,
who?
wait. Because that's like a side character in the original Dragon Ball.
Oh, okay.
It was Emperor Pilaf's henchwoman, and they're announcing as if she's like a main character of the series that everyone knows.
Right.
She's obviously always in the collectible action figure sets, right?
Yeah. You know that bunny character that from that one episode in Dragon Ball? Or how about the guy who teaches Goku how to drive? Remember the episode where Goku and Piccolo have to get their driver's license?
Yeah.
Their teacher featuring this guy.
Yeah, right? Yeah.
It's like, how obscure can you get?
Exactly. Bulma, Pycon. But no, it's like okay. I had a feeling, is this made by someone who knows what they're talking about? And then I saw, an interview with the director, and James Wong actually said, I've never seen an episode of the series.
Oh.
Literally in an interview.
Oh.
And this was after, of course, I saw it, in which the most exciting part of the whole movie was Justin Chatwin doing a somersault over a piece of fire. So I'm like, whoa, look at that's Dragon Ball come to life.
Was that before or after he drove in his Ferrari?
Huh? Oh, wait, so I'm confused. How did Pilaf and Mai become kids in Dragon Ball Super? I do understand the story, but okay. You know what? This is strange. Okay, Akira Toriyama constantly goes on record saying he has a horrible memory and that he keeps on forgetting things. He forgot that Super Saiyan 2 existed.
Well, yeah,
when he was writing this series.
15 years of content.
Yeah,
basically.
exactly.
So it's like,
but he forgets the manga and the storyboards for the anime, which is fine. Guy has his own life too outside of this, but he's a forgetful person. He might have forgotten what age they were when the show ended and might have just wanted them back as that age. My only other theory is that he wanted to do a slight, kind of a little burn to GT. for turning Goku into a kid.
Right.
Let's turn them into kids, you know, and put them back into the first saga, which I thought, if that's the case, it's kind of brilliant.
Yeah.
You know, it's not that clever.
I like
or
that
not
GT has
prominent, but
been basically wiped away.
yeah,
it's like
a fan fiction as said by Toriyama.
You know what also
Didn't
did
happen.
that? I think it's the third season of Rurouni Kenshin was also. I don't know if you ever watched that, but I was a fan
watched
of
the
it.
first season.
And like, yeah, the first two seasons are like actually what's in the manga, and the third season is just like some and you can totally tell it's just some random like throwaway villain story. No one cares.
Some fun what if.
And yeah, and it's just like I actually really like that.
I'm okay with those.
When the creators are just like, well, I like the what if episodes, but I like it when the creators are kind of just like, let's just forget about that and then do this. They tried to do that also with Alien, right? The new Alien movie.
Yeah.
Where they're kind of like, no, the third one and fourth one didn't exist.
Basically, yeah.
But then people were not
Even
happy.
though I like Alien 3, I think it's really creepy. You know, I think it's a good horror movie, but hey, isn't there
Morphin Ranger says,
isn't there people who are working with him, telling him or reminding him of what happened on the show? Plus, I was told he's not writing. Someone else is doing the storyline right. Yeah. Well, Toriyama is there basically driving the story. He's basically Kevin Feige. And other people are doing the actual like creation and story fleshing. So he's there just to hold things together and to basically canonize things or, you know, nick stories that he thinks maybe nah. But for the most part, he seems very lenient and is letting them go at it. Obviously, it's, you know, all been done. I think it's ending right now, but it's... Yeah.
It's interesting when series go on that long because that is a question I thought, especially about The Simpsons. I'm like, are there people that are just paid lore experts that are like, actually, this character died. You can't bring them back in. Or this character moved away and they would have no reason to come back.
Well, the final episode of The Simpsons will not have mod fan.
Their shirts were a different color in this season.
Yeah.
And Bart said this, and he should be this age at this point, which is another funny thing is that cartoons or whatever don't really care about
age. They don't age at all.
Yeah, they don't age ever.
You know?
It's like, oh, you went from like, I don't know, cassette players to like, you know, iPod Nanos, and it's like everyone's the same age.
You know, the intro now shows like, you know, the twins like on iPhones texting, you know, and before they actually had instruments.
Right.
You know,
and it's not a thing that bothers me at all. It makes sense. It's like you want to keep these characters
modernized to an extent.
Yeah.
You know?
But this is different. This is a different situation.
Much different.
Because it is a serial show.
Yes.
Like it's supposed to follow a story. But
yeah.
I don't know. So yeah, Dragon Ball was terrible. Not the show. The movie, the Dragon Ball Z movie. I'm glad you guys didn't even like acknowledge the movie. That's how bad it is. Everyone's like, no, let's talk about the show. Let's not talk about that.
Yeah.
Let's not talk about that at all.
That's good. That's good for our health.
You know what else looks, not to be like only negative about these things, but you know what else looks not very impressive is the new Rampage movie. It's a weird one because it's like I know people played Rampage and I was a fan of like the N64 version and I think it was a Super Nintendo game too. But like, why does this exist? Could they not afford any other properties? They're like, you know what? We need a remake. We need to remake a video game into a movie because that's going to make us money. Which one can we afford? Some people liked Rampage at one point.
I picture that. I picture them saying, well, Rampage is good, while the other guy had like a script for Altered Beast. And he's like, yeah, sounds good. Rampage, you know? But like, yeah, like what else could they have said?
I don't
Golden Axe, you know? Like,
Godzilla. Oh wait, they're already doing it.
Sim City. You know, like what? Like, yeah, I agree. It's an IP with a story to it. Like you can do something with that. But what would you really do? You know, it's kind of to me, it reminds me almost of like Real Steel. You know, in the sense that it's like they're going way out on a limb to make some kind of
Real Steel wasn't based on any. I mean, it kind of was based on the Rock'em Sock'em.
Yeah.
But was it actually, or was it just like kind of influenced by that?
It was very influenced to the point where they wanted you to draw that connection.
Okay.
Kind of like, because it was in the same Battleship era where they're trying to make board games.
Yeah, that was weird.
You know, I was still waiting for the Mousetrap movie.
That on Netflix.
Yeah.
That was an interesting movie.
Yeah.
Rampage, no for me. Well, I would agree. I honestly am probably not going to watch that one until it comes out on Netflix, which it probably will.
Yeah.
You know, just out of curiosity. Although I did that with the Transformers movie, I think it was like the fourth one or
Sure.
something like that.
I
And
don't even know how many.
I was just like, this wasn't even worth the free
Sure.
Netflix time that I
How
got.
depressed are you that Travis Knight is making Bumblebee?
Bumblebee?
Yeah.
What's that?
The Bumblebee movie. Bumblebee Transformer.
Oh,
Travis
that's what
Knight
you mean.
is doing it. Yeah.
Oh.
Mr. Leica.
Well, I've kind of tuned out. I don't really care because I've tuned out of Transformer movies already.
Well, yeah, but my question is mainly like, the guy who made Kubo and like, Coraline literally has said, yes, I will make a
Is it
Transformers
animated?
movie. Sure.
It would be weird if it wasn't.
No, I mean, basically it's a Transformers movie.
like a cartoon.
CGI is animation, right?
No, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, is it animated though?
No.
Okay. So it's a live action.
So
thing.
far, that's what it, yeah.
Oh, okay.
And
I don't know honestly.
It's strange, right?
Yeah, that is weird.
But Rampage sucks. Okay, but
Wait, Morphin Ranger says, "What did y'all think of Star Wars Episode 8, The Last Jedi?"
oh, really? You're going there?
Um,
That's a big topic.
That is a really big topic. I think Sterling and I kind of agreed at one point though, is that it made a lot of people mad. I don't really understand why.
Yeah.
Well, I understand why. It kind of like threw away a lot of like the traditional Star Wars like expected things.
Yeah.
And I thought that was good. I think Kylo Ren is probably like my favorite villain in Star Wars
Kylo Ren
now.
is my favorite Sith Lord.
Yeah.
Or if you can call him that.
He's not my favorite Sith Lord ever, but of the
whole
movies.
Of me? Oh yeah, okay, yeah. Of the movies, he's mine.
Yeah.
Because I can kind of I hate this word, but I can relate to his character more so than any of the rest.
Right.
He's conflicted. He has conscience still in him, and he wants to use it, but it's tough. And
Yeah, the draw to the light aspect.
Yeah.
Like it's always been draw to darkness. Like,
It has
you
been.
have to give in to the darkness or you don't,
Yeah. Yeah.
And this one's the opposite. Like that's such an interesting
yeah,
character. Like in the beginning, he's already struggling with becoming a redemption character. And then you see him just go further and further trying to fight that.
because he's realizing these ritualistic steps
yeah.
are needless.
Yeah. He doesn't care about the Sith.
Why do I have to kill my dad?
Yeah.
To gain this power? I shouldn't have to. I should just be able to kind of forge my own path through my wit and through my power, my political stance.
Yeah.
And that's what I love about Kylo Ren. He's the first atheist Sith Lord.
Basically.
He doesn't believe in the Force. Or he believes in the Force, obviously he hasn't.
Yeah.
But he doesn't believe in the dogmatic practice of light side, dark side.
Yeah, no,
he
he's
believes in
creating
the
his own.
Force. He believes in political power. He believes in having an army that can kick your ass. And he goes along with the papacy, I guess you could say, to gain more political influence and scare others who still believe in that religion.
Right.
So he can because he sees the money in it.
Yeah.
He's an entrepreneur, atheist Sith Lord.
That's also a
And-
religious leader though, because he
Yeah.
uses it against people.
No, exactly, exactly. And
he's
that's why-
actually evil.
That's why I think I think he's
He's
awesome.
selfish.
And a lot of people don't see that,
Yeah.
but that's fine,
Right.
But going to episode 8 in general, I liked it because it's the most punk rock Star Wars film. They took the story and decided to, screw it. Let's do our own thing.
Morphin Ranger says atheist Sith Lord makes no sense. Well, I think at least the way I see it is that like he learns the dark side of the Force, which
Yeah.
is an established thing. I don't think he knows how to use it obviously, and he studied all the ways of the dark side and the Jedi and all
Yeah.
that. But I think what Sterling was trying to say, and you can correct me on this, is that
it's I mean that metaphorically. He's
yeah.
not- there's no
he doesn't
God,
care.
Jesus in this.
He doesn't
series.
care about that like rule of two or like the Sith, the history of it or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, so he kept on saying, let the past die, let it all
Yeah.
die, kill it if you have to. That's the whole message from him. And I
Yeah.
think he's totally like, he doesn't care about the Empire or whatever, or the First Order is just a tool to him.
Yeah.
And he's just going to get what he wants.
Exactly.
Regardless of what Snoke thought, or even if Palpatine was still around, what Palpatine would want. He wouldn't care about that.
Yeah, he wouldn't care about that, but he would go along with it because he
Yeah.
knows it's the quickest way to getting what you want through that kind of power. And if you look at people like Joel Osteen or whatever, those assholes who just obtain
Yeah.
money by tricking everyone into going with their way of reading the Bible or whatever.
Right.
That is what I mean by him being atheist or whatever. They're just like, making their own path to gaining that kind of influence. He's not actually atheist, like
Right.
in that sense. It's my metaphoric way of saying how he finds his way to becoming the same stature as Palpatine, which he pretty much has now.
Yeah.
We'll just have to see how he uses it, because I think he's honestly, his one downfall is he's too emotional, and that will probably be his downfall.
Right.
Because Sith Lords aren't emotional. They're kind of like Vulcans. I know that's sin to cross-reference, but they're you can't have that kind of emotional pull if you want to stay on track with your goals.
Yeah. One last thing on The Last Jedi, just because it is kind of off topic for us. But Morphin Ranger says, well, we need more Sith Lords. I'd like to see more Sith Lords, a new Sith Empire. If you're talking about things like in Knights of the Old Republic, where there's like Korriban and like a whole, like besides the Rule of Two, there's a whole academy of Siths. It would be really cool to see that in a Star Wars movie. I don't think that's where this is gonna go.
Yeah,
I
it
think
seems like it's coming to somewhat of an end of that terminology in general.
Yeah, and I think if Kylo does pick up apprentices, it is just for manipulation.
Hey, you're rad, man. That's awesome. No, I agree. Yeah. A tool. Yeah. Please, next time it rains there, Joel, let people into your mega church for shelter. Okay, anyway.
All right, now on to something more lighthearted.
Yes.
Detective Pikachu.
Yeah. What the fuck's a Pokemon?
So unfortunately, Danny DeVito is not going to be playing Detective Pikachu. Yeah. It's going to be Ryan Reynolds, which is kind of weird.
Yeah.
It is. That's a weird choice. Like, I understand with his popularity because of Deadpool and things like that. Like, yeah, he's a A-lister right now, or at least with the nerds. That's probably what they're thinking. Yeah. Those nerds, they like the Ryan Reynolds. They like the Deadpool guy. We're going to get him. He's going to play Detective Pikachu.
I love that movie he was in. Now, Green Lantern.
Yeah.
No,
but
no, that's not the one I meant. I meant Blade Trinity.
Yeah.
But that's like, but no,
I haven't played the game yet.
I haven't either.
I want to.
I know nothing of how this movie is going to work.
It's live action with the CG Pikachu.
Sam Spade is basically going to be trying to track down the Maltese Bulbasaur. I'm not really sure like how this is going to work.
I don't know, but it's
a
interesting.
noir with Pikachu.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Sort of.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be a little bit lighthearted to be called a noir, but hopefully it is like, hey, I haven't eaten a... What are those little things that the Pokemon eat? The little, like, rice ball things?
Rice balls.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the proper term.
Yes.
The
Brock
rice,
calls them that in the
rice
anime.
Balls, right.
So.
I just think it's interesting that Nintendo is branching open to do more Nintendo-based movies. Like, they said that they weren't going to do that.
Yeah.
And now you see Detective Pikachu coming out, and you see also the Mario movie, which is a CG movie.
Wreck-It Ralph really got them off their ass. Because
That's true.
That was almost the Mario movie. And then instead, Nintendo just said, hey, you know what? You can use a couple of our properties.
Oh, but they can't be the main character.
Yeah, exactly. They can be cameos.
Right.
And they can't have dialogue.
Yeah.
And so basically, and then, of course, Sega one-ups them and say, you could use Sonic in a whole scene. Here's the voice actor's number. You know?
Right.
And basically, I think that's what made it work, because they realized this has potential.
Yeah.
We said no at last minute because we didn't like the terms that Disney was giving us. We're going to do it ourselves now. So why not?
Wreck-It Ralph pleased me. From
it did me too.
It was a good movie. I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I actually want to see the second one.
I want to see it really bad. I think it looks great.
I think I'm a little bit cautious because of the Emoji Movie, how it's about emojis, right? But that the internet culture thing.
Yeah.
And then this is kind of like internet culture thing. So I'm a little bit taken aback because anytime someone that's, I don't know how old the writers are or whatever, so I'm just assuming. But if they're older, right, they may... when people try to be cool and try to do meme culture,
kids thing. Yeah.
Am I disconnected? No, it's the kids that are wrong. From The Simpsons, I think that's something like that.
No, for sure. No, I get it.
Yeah.
Like, it might be out of touch with what the real culture is supposed to be.
They're like Grumpy Cat. You guys like Grumpy Cat, right? Here's more Grumpy Cat for you. There's a Grumpy Cat movie, by the way. There was a Grumpy Cat movie.
Moving on. Okay, so wait. Okay, the next one I need you to talk about, because I still haven't read much into this and I'm scared.
Sonic? I don't know too much about that, but what I heard is that there's a Sonic movie coming out, and it is actually with live action characters in it. Now, it's not going to be some just like, it's not going to be Michael Cera with some blue spiky hair running around. Be like, you kids like chili dogs?
I'm pretty sure you can't catch me. Yeah. No, but
Something I don't know.
No,
Why does Eggman just want to take all the animals and put them in capsule? He's such an asshole.
He's such an asshole. It doesn't make sense. Like, it's like, is this Alcatraz or is this like the Green Hill Zone? Like, I can't tell you. It's like, okay, so half like live action or whatever.
Yeah.
So it's basically Sonic 06, the movie.
It's Sonic 06.
So
yeah,
like,
exactly.
there's gonna be bestiality Sonic. Like
maybe they might pull
is
a
the
romance.
whole movie gonna be him like skidding over water? Whoa! Like
every time he turns a corner, there's just like a loading screen, even though there's a movie. There's buffering.
Yeah. The final battle against Silver is just gonna be you glitched over his head.
My God,
it's no use.
Look,
it's no use.
I'm excited.
It's no use. It's no use.
Stop it.
And then it just freezes. And then the screen freezes for the last half hour until credits roll.
Oh my God. Yeah. That was a terrible game. No, I'm excited to see this because again, video game movies have this negative like stigma you know, with them. And
to say the least.
I think if they do some more CG stuff to kind of bring it out with properties that are appropriate, it is exciting. Like I'm a big fan of Sonic, and I'm a big fan of 3D Sonic. Like I really like it. I'm not just a fan of the classic stuff. So I think there is possibility that this could be an interesting movie. I don't expect it to be very appealing to anyone besides a younger audience, unfortunately. But it would be nice if they got writers for people that do stuff like Gravity Falls or like some of these Cartoon Network shows that have a wide appeal. It doesn't matter what your age is. The shows are good and it's still appropriate for kids. Like they need to do stuff like that. Even Pixar films. There are Pixar films that are, you know, like
well, Alex Hirsch from Gravity Falls is writing Detective Pikachu.
Oh, he's writing Detective. Oh, yeah.
So that's the one thing that has me like gunning for it in a way, even though I still don't understand what the hell they're doing. It's just funny. Like I can't wait for like Captain Bulbasaur, where he's trying to catch Moby Dick. It's actually a Gyarados. But
it was the Lapras the whole time. Should have seen it. No.
I love the accent. Who's a Lapras the whole time?
It's a Lapras the whole time. But no, there's an example of a movie I watched that is a video game movie. It's 3D, and they kind of made it too childish for it to really work, which is the Ratchet and Clank movie. I don't know if any of you guys watched that, but I watched it in the theater, and I would say that overall it's like, it was okay. It wasn't terrible, but it wasn't very entertaining to me because it did feel very like, this is for kids. Like this is for like 13-year-olds or not even 13-year-olds. Like it was like for 12-year-olds and under.
No, it was.
And it was weird because
it's a T for teen series of games that was toned down for almost a Nick Jr. audience.
Yeah, it was weird because like they make like a lot of raunchy jokes. Like it was pointed out to me, it's like, Ratchet and Clank, like all the titles are like weird sex or dick jokes. Like just so I don't know. I would have liked to see it reflect more of the humor and then the style of the games, the original games.
Yeah, they were being very safe, trying to capitalize on the kid audience for Pixar.
They didn't need it. Well, even like I said, Pixar is able to appeal to other people. Like Up.
Yeah.
Up is a great movie. I think a lot of people would enjoy something like Up.
Yeah.
So
Ratatouille is liked much more by adults for many reasons because it's kind of their only like kind of mishap in the sense that it appealed too much to older audiences.
Oh yeah.
But for that reason, it shows that the range of that company.
Yeah.
Ratchet and Clank, first off, it combines like multiple game stories, kind of waters them all down, and forgets to include enough gadgets and weapons for it to feel like an actual Ratchet and Clank movie.
So yeah, I mean, like it was. I don't know. I'm worried that Detective Pikachu and Sonic could kind of end up like that. I hope that they're just written well and are entertaining, even if they are kind of geared more towards kids. It still should be enjoyable. I would like to see more of these kinds of movies, as long as it doesn't kind of ruin the characters in a way. Like I feel like Sonic movie, like they're gonna have this and then they're gonna have a spin-off. Like they're gonna have like a straight to DVD spin-offs. I can see that fate, and that would be a little bit disappointing, but hopefully they do good. And we also have on our list Advent Children, which is a completely different. That's like written well, I don't know if it was written by the Final Fantasy 17, but it's a canon story. Like it's a direct sequel to Final Fantasy 7. And I think that they did a really good job with it, even though
I think it's a great movie.
the first version of it is kind of a mess. I think the dub is kind of a mess, at least.
Sure.
They didn't really know how to deal with the dialogue, but they did like the complete edition. They added some new scenes. They changed some stuff. And that's a good example of like not really theater worthy probably, but a good movie for the fandom and a good addition to expand the universe.
Agreed.
So I think there could be like, well, Metal Gear games are basically movies. But I'm saying like I would watch a Metal Gear movie if it was like Advent Children. Like I would be so down to watch that. And Resident Evil actually has that where they have Leon and they have it based on the games more. I don't know if you've seen any of those. I watched one and it was pretty good. It didn't really like, it didn't blow me away, but it was cool. Yeah. It was cool enough.
Speaking of like Metal Gear, like ever since I saw Winter Soldier,
right,
I've really been wanting the Russo brothers eventually to get that IP, just because like I think that infiltration scene on the ship with Cap, it just felt so much like the opening to the first Metal Gear, and I think they would do it some justice.
Right. Yeah, Morphin Ranger says, Metal Gear, most beautiful game I have ever played.
What do you think of Twin Snakes, Morphin Ranger? I gotta know, because some people say that's a game.
But we also have on our list a couple of fan movies that I would like to talk about.
Yes.
Because it's not just about, these big theater things. There's a lot of like creative talent that don't have a huge budget and are not backed by a big movie distributor or anything like that. And I've seen some great ones that I really enjoy. And I'm sure a lot of people, internet culture and all that, like have seen some really cool stuff.
Yeah.
Morphin Ranger says, I will never touch Metal Gear Survive. Well, I'm right there with you. The only time I would ever play it is if it was absolutely free, but that was before the reviews came out. The reviews said that gameplay is not even great, so I don't feel bad. The only reason
basically just slightly clunkier Metal Gear 2. The only thing good about that game is that you get first person view. And it really helps against certain fights, but you don't need it.
I don't know. I wouldn't. I just the Fox engine is amazing. It's super beautiful looking, and it's really optimized. And the controls of Metal Gear 5 were perfect.
Yeah.
And I really thought it was a shame that we wouldn't see another game made with it until this game came out. And I'm like, the only way I'm going to play this if it's absolutely free to me for some reason, because I don't want to, support that shit. But but even now, I don't care. I'm like, oh, reviews suck. Whatever.
Thanks to Twin Snakes, though, we got Snake and Brawl. That was kind of the only reason why we were able to.
Right.
The license was there still. But
all right. So
anyway.
on to these things. Do we actually want to bring up like little snippets of them? Like I feel like at least Sleeping Dogs we can show
definitely
like a section
but
of it.
Yeah, let's go into these really quick because it's funny how much better fan-made films are better than Hollywood films. They have budgets of maybe, 5 to 15 grand based on sponsorship or, crowdfunding. But then, you have these bigger, Hollywood movies with like $30 million to 150. And it just shows that, based on the fact that these have about, some of these have over 10 million views, it shows that they're kind of outweighing, that whole fandom theory that no one's going to see this because it's too niche.
Right.
How many are seeing it in theaters? Maybe like what, like 55,000 maybe at the most. You have 10 million on YouTube.
Yeah, well, like this live action Sleeping Dogs fight film has 5.5. We're actually going to switch over to there we go. And just to show you like just a segment. I don't know how many of you have seen it, but
first off, this is a film made by YouTuber Punisher.
Yeah.
And his cat broke my lens.
We talked about that in another episode.
Thanks, Cheeto. He is one of the most talented filmmakers I know in this area of filmmaking.
Do you know how much I've given you?
Yeah, we're just gonna play it.
Yeah.
But like the choreography and just like the quality, like you don't. You don't even get stuff like this in. I think the closest thing I've seen in like a more mainstream thing is like the Raid or Daredevil has some pretty epic.
Daredevil
Right.
is close. Yeah.
Yeah.
Dread is close.
Right.
For it being more shooty.
Right.
But which it's just the Raid with guns. But no, this is
Like there's some
this
crazy.
is a very above average martial arts sequence.
Yeah. And obviously this is just the fight scene, but there are some story elements. If you guys haven't watched it, look up just Sleeping Dogs Punisher. We don't want to show the whole thing here. We'll just show you some like just pretty crazy, brutal segments in it. Let's see, where's the yeah. Oh yeah. Okay. This part is just like oh god. I don't know if this is too violent, but it's just like to kind of capture the action that you would see in a video game and then just do it really well. Like on such a, I don't know how much money they spent making this, but like this is a proof of concept that if you get the right people to make something, that's what video game movies need, is like definitely the people that are passionate.
Yes.
To have these as like passion projects.
100%.
Oh. I don't know how much before we get flagged for gore.
Yeah.
So.
But basically, it just shows, it's so simple, yet it will definitely seal the deal on your opinion that, it's the fans who can really bring this home.
Yeah. I mean, not always. Like,
yeah.
I think if you are a fan but also just are competent at making movies, definitely.
Yeah.
There are some things that I agree with, like movie directors, even game designers, that are like, well, we kind of need to protect the fans from themselves sometimes.
Yeah.
Like they want just the fan service, and that oftentimes doesn't make a good piece of art.
Yes.
Unfortunately. You definitely need to be a good, writer and filmmaker to do that.
Yeah.
But
we have a lot more comments. What's going on here?
No, this is just some of the other stuff.
Agree. Fan-made films are better.
Oh yeah.
I have seen good fan films like Mario Warfare, Modern Gear. Okay, Video Game High School, of course. Thanks, Cheeto.
Yeah, Video Game High School is great. Love that.
Yes, but no, it's pretty much finding people who have passion for making something like that. Exactly what Joseph here just said, and it's true. I used to work with a YouTube duo, Colin and Connor.
Yeah.
And we made a few projects together, 5 total. And I remember being on hand to do a little bit of the internet work with Portal Survive, which was their Portal fan film. And holy crap, like to me, it's a really good like prequel film to a video game that, in a sense was to set up the story of Doug Ratman in the Portal game, and it just shows, because they're diehard Valve fans.
Do you want to bring that up while we kind of just show?
Yeah, sure. They're diehard Valve fans. Their main goal eventually was to make a Half-Life film that kind of combines the universe. Well, they're in the same universe.
Congratulations.
But to actually make them together.
Let's see, we're on cam 2. That's great. Okay.
Overpaid personnel.
Yeah, no, this was. I mean, we don't want. We want you guys to check it out. We don't want to just stream everything on here, but what would be a good section? Is there a good section in the beginning?
Yeah, the Chell running sequences.
Yeah, Chell.
I'm going to be honest with you now.
Which I love how this is just a setup. She's not the main point of this video.
Nah. And like obviously, they don't have the huge $30 million budget or whatever to get the effects. The effects are awesome, by the way.
This was filmed in the back offices of the YouTube Space LA, and it looks just like it could be Aperture.
Right. And it's just that kind of attention to detail, pacing that really pays off.
It really does.
And she kind of just goes crazy. Like,
and there's a lot of great Portal fan films. I just like how this one is basically canon with the game,
Right. Not gonna give away the ending on this one. You should definitely
no
check
need
it
to
out
do
if
that.
you want to.
And then lastly, one more to talk about.
Yes.
Okay. Now, this is the only one that I was directly involved in the creation of.
Oh, right.
And so I don't know how many of you listening right now enjoyed Red Dead Redemption, But I
That was an amazing game.
I loved it. I
That's-
loved it.
That's seriously like gameplay, story wise. Oh, so good. I
Yeah.
got so lost in that world.
For sure. And
What's it called?
The Hanging of Bonnie McFarlane. And basically, a short film was made in California's Inland Empire based on one of the missions in the game. And basically, it's a spaghetti western, kind of grindhousey film that doesn't spare the red splatter pack. So
If we can switch to the computer feed if you haven't already. I love it. I love that the grindhousiness
Yes.
totally works.
yeah, this film came out like about a week after Django Unchained.
Oh wow.
And our director and producer totally said Tarantino just ripped us off because the squibs and everything look just like this movie as they do in Django.
What they call running fox.
Where's the? Oh yeah. That actually reminds me of what was that other Tarantino movie that just came out?
Hateful Eight.
Hateful Eight.
Well, it didn't just come out now.
Well, that was the last one to come out.
Yeah.
That was the last one to come out. It was really cool.
Here we
You
go.
got
Like,
some-
here's some good blood coming up.
I just love these passion projects so much.
Yeah.
Like, and inspired by an
Yeah.
amazing game.
Yes.
That over-the-top blood, though.
Oh, it's great.
And for all of you listening that don't have the video, yeah, it's just a shootout, and the main character is hiding behind a hanging man
Yeah.
and using his body for cover, and it's just totally
Yeah.
over-the-top stylized blood. Well, that's a good one.
Definitely. But yeah, our point is just that sometimes, a competent indie filmmaker who has the resources to go through with a project like that
Right.
can churn out something that the fans really love, as opposed to gamble with like many of the films that come out in theaters, like Assassin's Creed.
Right.
One of the
Yeah.
most expensive video game movies ever made, and was considered one of the worst. So
I know. Netflix has just gotta I think Netflix might be a good place for that. Besides YouTube, like independent stuff always support, but I think there could be like a good Netflix series based on a game, or you
Yeah.
know, and just give it the time to establish the characters and the story. Because a lot of times there's pacing issues
Yeah.
with these video game movies, which I think is probably the biggest downfall, is either doing that or just not understanding the source material at all. Not watching Dragon Ball or reading
Yeah.
any of it, and then making a Dragon Ball movie and being
Yeah.
like, you just tell me what the characters are like, and then I'll just make a movie.
and then I'll just make something up from there. Yeah.
But I think we actually should probably be wrapping it up.
Yes,
At
definitely.
this point.
I think so as well. We kind of covered quite a bit, but there was one thing I want to do first.
Uh-huh.
A trailer came out today for
Oh,
a certain
yes,
movie,
yes.
and we haven't seen it yet.
Okay, so we're gonna be reacting to the Infinity War trailer.
Because
pull that
we are the last people on Earth to view it,
Was that
and because of the
16
internet
hours
going
ago?
down earlier, we had no choice.
Right.
No chance.
All right, let's bring that up, camera feed.
All right. Okay, Joseph, first, are you ready?
I'm stoked.
Okay.
Let's do this.
Spinning.
The entire time I knew him, he only ever had one goal:
Ooh, War Machine.
to wipe out half the universe.
Whoa, who's
Well, at least it's
speaking?
only
If he
half.
gets all the Infinity Stones,
Is this
he can
Gamora
do it
or
with the
I think
snap
it's
of
Nova?
his
Nebula.
Nebula. That's what I meant.
Just like that.
Oh,
Tell me his name again.
that was Gamora.
Thanos.
Wow. Oh, that's so cool. Tony Stark and Gamora.
We got
Oh.
one advantage. He's coming to us.
Whoa.
Wow.
We have what Thanos wants. So
Oh
that's
my
what we
God.
use.
Wakanda. Bearded Cap.
Let's talk about this plan of yours. I think it's good,
Oh.
except it sucks. So let me do the plan, and that way it might be really good.
Wow.
He's like, now I know how it feels.
Space me is a jerk.
The end is near.
Oh my God. Teen Groot.
When I'm done, half of humanity will still exist.
Whoa.
Flashbacks. Whoa.
Ooh.
Wow.
Oh my god. Oh, that's so cool. The portal hopping.
Things should be.
Whoa.
Whoa. That's one of his minions, right? Or like his
Yeah.
order.
Oh.
Ow.
Whoa.
Oh shit. Oh my god. That's so hyped.
Wow.
Oh my god.
I'm Peter, by the way.
Doctor Strange.
Oh, you're using your made-up names. Then I am Spider-Man.
Interesting that they ended with him because
Yeah.
like we kind of already knew he was gonna be there.
Yeah.
But wow, that's
Oh, man.
great.
That is something special.
Right. All right. Well, that's it. That's coming out in April, right?
Yes.
Oh
That
my
is
god.
definitely and going ape shit mode. Oh, that's awesome.
All right. Well, thank you guys for joining us. It was a lot of fun. I mean, it was a good experience watching the movie, even though it was like, it was good, wasn't amazing, but we covered a lot of good stuff. And I'm hoping to see video game movies improve over time and people to get the right people, passionate people to make them, competent people.
Yeah.
It got moved up from May to April.
Yeah, it's actually coming out a week earlier now.
Yes.
And apparently the rumor is because they don't want it to compete with Solo.
Yeah, exactly. Disney.
I mean, it's
competing
going to
with
either
itself.
way. This is
Yeah.
going to be in theaters for like 5 months.
Oh, yeah.
But
yeah,
I mean, Solo needs all the help
it
can
needs
get.
all the help. Yes, yes, unfortunately.
Yes. You want to see that? You want to see why? You can Google that yourself. We're not going to waste our time on that. But
yeah. All right, guys. Thank you so much for joining us. If you liked what you saw, we are planning to do more podcast episodes in the future. We don't have.
Hold on. I really want to be nice
Okay.
and address this one little thing.
Sure.
Our last comment.
Okay. Last comment. Let's go.
Okay, what was that? We'll have to do.
Oh shit. We'll have to do another trailer reaction to my YouTube channel. Okay.
Okay.
Oh, what's your YouTube channel?
Yeah,
Give us a quick plug.
Yeah, plug it, and then everyone, please, who's still listening, check out his channel really quick when he posts it.
Definitely. All right, guys. Thank you so much for joining us. We are DistractionCast. Joseph, game designer guy. We're all about networking, just creative types, artists, and new media. And today I was joined by co-host Sterling.
Hi, I'm Sterling, film festival person, movie guy.
Yeah. So we're just a bunch of nerds, basically.
Yeah.
And we do nerdy stuff somewhat professionally.
Yeah.
I thank you guys so much. And see you around next time. Yeah.